Come on, just kick him out.
All right, take two. Welcome back to Modern Comic Mayhem on Beyond Wednesdays. We're gonna try this again without the stream abruptly ending. I'm guessing it was probably maybe Bryan on his phone as an accident or whatever. But we're back. Lucky for me, I can know how to do everything. Let me share the link out again to people that might need it in our chat. But we have a good crew.
We got enough people here, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, people like come and go and all that. So
I know,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
All right,
that was a joke.
Dun.
I'm good for all night. My plans were canceled for tomorrow, unfortunately.
So what were you gonna do, man?
I was gonna go see this burlesque show called Empire Strips Back. No, which is a real off-Broadway show in New York right now.
Oh, so they're not on strike off Broadway?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it's not Screen Actors Guild. That's the G-string union.
I was hearing like there's some theatrical actors that are on strike as well.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
but I mean, I haven't really dug too much into that. But I don't remember what we were talking about when we last cut off, but that's okay. We can move on to a new topic, or just kind of whatever.
I think we were still talking San Diego Comic-Con and exclusives, if memory serves me correct.
Yep. Oh, okay, that's cool. Adam, I know you were saying backstage that you've been watching like different whatnot shows, different updates.
I've been watching different whatnot shows, watching certain exclusives go for all sorts of crazy money, anywhere from $50 to over $100. I've been on eBay on and off all day trying
to. This wouldn't have happened if Bryan was running the show. I don't believe that.
What's that?
Right.
Yeah, when we were testing
all
the
different, horrified.
Yeah, when we were testing all the different OBS stuff and audio stuff, like so I don't believe that at all. We're professionals here, damn it. Not really, but
I guess I didn't get the memo. Being a professional.
Were there any of the exclusives that you saw that you were you mentioned actually right before the break that there were some exclusives you were trying to get that you were unable to
the one I really want is the McFarlane gold label Batman Nightfall figure.
Gotcha.
I just don't want to pay $180 something for it.
Just wait 5 days.
That's my plan.
Or wait a month, right?
Yeah.
I thought since I was hosting the Hot 10 last night, I thought it was pretty crazy. The Batman Spawn gold foils.
Yeah,
those were going for like what? I don't remember the price, but I think it was like
the cheapest I've seen today was like 90. Maybe
crap.
It was $90.
Here's an important question: has any Spawn comic ever held its value? I mean, like it's sort of a miracle that Spawn #1 is worth anything, considering there's about 9 million of them. But well, I guess there's 5 million of them. But that they've had to kind of like create a false like division, like some of these have this color on the inside cover, and some of them have this. I mean, like legitimately a newsstand copy of any early '90s comic of that magnitude is going to be a little bit more legitimately rare, because the kids that were reading them probably weren't thinking of them as collectibles if they bought them on the newsstand. But I mean, none of these really hold up. Honestly, very few Image comics in generally hold up.
I would disagree with you on the fact that the middle part of that run of Spawn, like the print run goes like way down, and then there's quite a few books that do retain value within that. Like I can think of like first appearance of Gunslinger, like those books traditionally do pretty well. The homage variants as well, like in the 200s.
Like from 200 250 is
and then there's some other like
value pretty good.
There's some there's a a bunch, and that's just within the run.
Well, let's talk about anything post-pandemic. So, like
Post-
any comic that was released after the pandemic, as opposed to some of the new quote-unquote pricing that we saw on supposedly rare comics. And again, I mean, like, certainly, you know, by comparison, those later runs of Spawn and some of the characters that were introduced then are rarer. But I think all the value in those are held as spec. I'm going to make the argument. I'm going to say this. I'm going to be a little bit unkind. I don't think that any of the Spawn comics are particularly well written. I don't think that when you go back and read them that they hold up well. And I'm including among those the Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman, Dave Sim, and Frank Miller comics from the earliest part of the run. So the only way that these will tend to maintain a higher value is if those characters that were introduced later in the run actually become in other media. And since we haven't even seen a second Spawn movie, which has been talked about for eternity ad infinitum, everything is spec until that Spawn movie hits. And if that Spawn movie doesn't land with a massive blow, then you can see the values in all of those Spawn comics sink back down because people are going to realize that it's probably not the franchise that Todd McFarlane would like everybody to think that it is, but that more importantly, it's been a kind of steady and loyal fan base that like Todd McFarlane because he's the Todd father. And that also, I think, comes out of a little bit more out of speculation and about latter-day collectors than the nostalgia that actually equates to value. When you look at something like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there's a nostalgia that's equated with the value. Granted, were the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the best written comic ever in the history of man? No. But they became a massive sensation in other media along the road, and then actually did become a quite well-written comic. So, and which is not to downplay the fact that Spawn has always been a ridiculously well-illustrated series. Some of the best art in a monthly comic on a really consistent basis. But I don't know that good art has ever really been enough to keep values of things up unless it's engineered scarcity. And so much of the variants are engineered scarcity. I mean, how many times are you guys get a tribute of Todd McFarlane? Todd McFarlane tributing to Todd McFarlane is almost like a weird time machine. It's like, you know, bacon bits on bacon. But, you know, I don't see long-term value in this stuff unless something really happens to change it. And so I think people are going to realize they're overpaying. If there's another floor below the floor we've seen recently, then Spawn should be subject to that.
Yeah. I mean, so you were asking about books post-pandemic. I could think of a couple examples of Spawn books specifically. Like you have that Singapore Spawn book. That's like limited to 500 copies, right? Like that
engineered scarcity.
But it's just from a Singapore convention. So I mean,
I've never even heard of it, but that really shouldn't surprise anybody.
But I mean, at the same time, so I mean, like when you have books printed in a foreign country, they can play by different rules than we can do here in America. So they can actually print only 500 copies. I mean, it's not like I see someone like that has a warehouse full of them
I've only seen the book once, and that's why I was jumping out.
And I've been offered the book like once or twice, and then I've declined it both times just because I'm not a huge Spawn collector. But at the same time, it still commands like, you know, what, over $1,000, right, Josh?
Yeah, it's up there. I think you underestimate the fan base that Spawn. Like, I mean, there's a whole web like Spawn World, that website where the guy has like every Spawn book that's ever been made ever, like listed. Like, the fans are nuts. Like,
that's one rabid fan. Fan. But you're correct that I probably am underestimating the Spawn fan base. What I'm thinking of though is how that equates to value and long-term investment. That they're younger audience, they're a younger fan base because it's a comic of a certain era. Kids who grew up reading Spawn when it was on the newsstand and thought it was awesome because they were little kids. We're little kids and they're a certain age. Whereas kids that were reading, say, like Sandman, were older, college kids. They got higher paying jobs probably in a certain, you know, area of their lives. Their rabid fan base meant more as far as making something a more collectible item. And that's the only two things I'm looking at. I begrudge nobody their joy. If your favorite comic ever is Spawn number 57 for whatever reason, then power to you. I love that. I hope you find I hope you find a 10.0, you know, like, and if that's what you want. But like, I think for longevity, for nostalgia, which is the most important element of long-term value, to mean something, you have to have read it and enjoyed it. And if you go back and read it, it has to mean something to you again when you go back and read it. I say this hoping the best for everybody, that when you go back and read a lot of the Spawn comics, if they still mean to you at 30 what they meant for you at 12, that says more about your education than it says about whether or not that comic is any good.
Testify.
And then Chad Cave is saying Spawn fan base is at least as large as the Sandman fan base. I don't know.
He may
how
be
true.
correct.
I mean,
he may be correct, but
yeah,
is it as
huge.
important? Like, does the does the Sandman fan base have more money and more influence in society generally, as a result of them probably being more intelligent and having higher paying jobs than necessarily the rabid fan base of the Spawn comic? And I don't say this to be cruel. I say this merely as a apples to apples comparison. That I think that the fan base could be bigger, but does that matter in the long run? Like, unless there is nostalgia for the thing, it will not have longevity.
No, and then even like with the Sandman series, like having something actually produced into Netflix, right? Like, did that create more readers into the to read the like trade paperbacks or omnibuses, whatever?
I think that's proven to be true because it stayed in print, and this is something that's been in print as a very expensive omnibus for a very long time. But more importantly than that, did it re-energize the original fan base into buying Sandman graded comics, which it absolutely did as well.
Yeah.
And what I think is even better than the actual Netflix show is the Audible audiobooks.
Yeah, those are fantastic as well. Like,
as someone
among
who's
the
a
best.
sight impaired comic book reader who can no longer read print, unfortunately.
But
the audiobook, the Sandman audiobooks was like reading printed comics again.
I mean, but at the same time, as soon as like something like that is released anyways, we do see a decline in the books like as soon as that drops, right? Because the supply has increased. But I do agree that it has retained its value from where it was pre being released on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
The price has increased from that, and it wasn't just like pandemic money floating around.
And those are also super hard to find in high grade. Like, finding 9.8s or above Sandman comics is tough because people went back and read them again and again and again. And these are, like I say, a more educated fan base and probably a fan base with more money. And I noticed Chad is kind of going back and saying, well, Todd McFarlane has $300 million. Well, he's not the collecting base. Like, he's the guy that owns the property. That's why he has $300 million. I don't know how much money Neil Gaiman has. It's a lot. But the fact is that if you compare the core demographics of like how much net worth the fan base has, the net worth of the Sandman fan base probably has on a per person instance a much higher income than the Spawn fan base. And there are about 15 different metrics that we could use to go over that. But, I think that what it's going to take, if new media comes out and causes a new core fan base and it really clicks, then that will be a great thing. I'm also very excited because I think a great comparison is the Teenage Mutant Turtles comparison that I made, because there was a Spawn cartoon, there was a Spawn movie. The Spawn cartoon was more popular than the Spawn movie. But then it's been 25 years at this point, I think, since those things have been a thing. The new Turtles movie actually looks really, really good. I'm very excited for it. And I didn't think I would be.
Actually, that is the second movie I'm looking the most forward to all year.
Yeah, it looks really good. And early on, I wasn't so excited.
I wanted to hate
it.
I wanted to hate it, but everything I've seen made me jump up and down the joint and want to go spend hundreds of dollars on old action figures.
I'm gonna go see those motherfucking turtles, dude.
I mean, it looks dope. But like, we've seen about as much from any new Spawn project as we've seen from Cerebus, which is like this thing.
Yeah,
that seems to be animating on his own.
Yeah, I mean, the whole following the whole like where Spawn is going to be produced story has been a interesting 5-year story, right? That like, hey, this production company is picking it up, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we're no longer doing them because they don't have the same vision I do.
Doesn't that tell you something?
Yeah, I'm going to self-produce it. And then and then it was like kind of like, okay, how are you funding this? And then it's like, oh, never mind, blah blah blah. It's going to this like, I don't even know where it's at now at this point.
Was it balloon plum or something the last time?
At where?
I forget the exact name of the company one that does all the horror movies.
So they parted ways with that.
All right.
Bloomhouse or whatever, or
Bloomhouse.
Whatever it's called. Like, and I thought that would have been a good spot for it, considering like how gory they make their horror movies, and then kind of like with that same imagery with Spawn. To me, that made sense. And then they have a big enough fan base where they could have gotten people that are into all that on board with it, where it's like kind of like, oh cool, I kind of remember that from my childhood in the 90s or whatever. But yeah.
Here's something very interesting that I want to add on to that too, and I want to say this as a caveat. And like I say, I begrudge nobody their fan base. Chad, if Spawn is your favorite comic, power to you, man. I hope the next Spawn movie is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I think in a way that poorly written comics make better movies. So like when you look at the fact, like I didn't think Infinity Gauntlet story was like the greatest written comic ever. That movie, those two movies are amazing. They're maybe the high watermark of comic book superhero films. There's a lot going on in them for sure. And if you were a reader of a certain age, it had a certain amount of excitement and dynamism to it. But going back and reading it, you're experiencing, there you go, the nostalgia and the fact, the George Perez covers are phenomenal. It's great art. But story-wise, it's convoluted. I think that when you really look at what has supplied some of the best elements to the best movies, they're enriching things that weren't necessarily articulated perfectly in the first place. That may mean that in the right hands, and certainly in the hands of some of the talent that we've seen at Blumhouse or at an A24, or a company like that, that they could take some of the really big concept ideas of Spawn, and there's some great concepts. The clown villain is amazing. Like the Malabolgia is a really cool character. Like the Angela thing, which I guess now belongs to Marvel.
It's not happening with Spawn.
Yeah.
All right.
But
let me answer real quick. Let me answer some questions in the chat real quick. McGill H, I do not have a drama segment for tonight. That's more of a Bryan thing. And then I'm sure he'll have something when he gets back from San Diego. There was something else I wanted to address. Bryan, Josh and I are considered millennials. So Spawn would have been like right in our wheelhouse in the 90s and all that.
I saw someone say Spawn is Team Android and Sandman is iPhone, so Android
for life, baby. So anyway,
I'm an Android too, but
but I thought it was a funny comparison, considering that you're speaking on people's class level or whatever and all that. So like to me, that was a funny comparson. And then
you go back 20 years, I guess, it'd be like a BlackBerry. Like Sandman would be the BlackBerry, and Spawn would be whatever the.
But they're supposed to relaunch the BlackBerry at some point, and then heck, they don't even read at the collegiate level. Yeezee works on the college campus. Talk to your professors and see what they say. So I don't work directly for professors, but I do help professors every so often when their computers can't connect to the internet. I have stopped in a couple of offices before where you could tell that they are comic fans. Like I'm not going to specifically say which departments they're in or anything like that, but you could definitely tell in their office that they collect statues. They're in it.
Why won't you say?
I mean,
are they going to say, "Hey, I saw you on Mayhem last night. Why did you call me out?"
I mean, because I don't remember their names or what building it was, and so that's what it really is. But I definitely do remember seeing like a lot of college professors that actually, I don't know if they integrated that stuff into their college courses. That would be interesting.
Ooh.
But yeah.
So is Kamala Khan a new mutant or a new mutant?
What's the difference?
So like instead of being a part of the group,
branding,
the New Mutants, right? Oh no, is she a New Mutants or a New Mutant
or a New Mutant, or is she just an X-Man, or is she an X-Men?
I'm confused.
So am I, bro. What the fuck
So-
is going on?
Yeah, because we want to know: are you the Red Hood comic or Red Hood Comics?
I am Redhood Comic.
See, it's the same argument, right?
Okay.
I am
Okay,
just
bro.
ubiquitously popsequentialism. There is no plural.
I am Red Hood Comics singular, not to be confused with Red Hood Comics that has an S at the end of his and is a retailer. I'm a presser. I'm a presser and a troublemaker and instigator and a
There's a-
disruptor.
There's a crisis of
Okay,
reading
bro.
comics among Generation Z's. Young people read less and less. They may be short-circuiting their reading brains. I mean, they're too busy reading manga anyways.
Yeah, I don't
Or-
think
or
they're reading
what-
less. I think they're reading different.
Yeah, they're reading like webtoons, stuff like that, and then
Yeah.
eventually, if those properties like get big enough, then it gets put into manga form. Then that leads to an anime series, and then to eventually like some sort of movie, probably an anime movie, and then possible discussions of live action. But that whole process could take like 10 to 20 years.
You know what they should do? So they should take the old books like the classics like The Dark Knight and Watchmen, and they should audiobook it with like a Sam Jackson reading it to you, or you
got
know
that.
what's his name? All right.
Okay,
Oh, McConaughey.
McConaughey, because McConaughey's got the voice, right? He like talks to you so you can sleep.
Well, the
Right?
weird thing about that Watchmen motion comic is that one guy does all the voices, including the female characters.
Is that the one that
It's
came out
super
during
weird.
the time
Yeah.
of the movie?
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
and then
couldn't
Kreider's
stand the
gonna
voice
join.
casting on that.
So Kreider's joining the Red Hood drama, making a Red Hood Comics profile. Just watch how many X's you put in there. So because people might think it's
I put
something
in
else.
3 X's just so I can say that I stole that.
You ever see this, Matt? Because I know you're a Watchmen fan. Do you see this
Oh,
noir?
I love it. Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's just in black and white, man.
Is it scanned off of the original artwork, or is it just like color moved? Because
Yeah,
I know
color removed. It's a
So
what
when-
is that?
I have a John Higgins color proof of the page that just has no dialogue and Rorschach on all pages. It's really his origin, where he figures out
right.
that the bad guy fed a child to his dog, and that page tells you everything is in basically every panel. And so Higgins had gone back and used the original I think original comic scans, the pages of the scans, and redeveloped his color on top of that for the omnibus collections. Those are new digital color from the guy who did the original color, but he optimized them for the better paper. I'm thinking that probably that book is maybe from the same source of going back to those original art pages and just removing the color. I don't have that. I'd love to see it. That sounds amazing. The only one of those kind of like black and white editions I have is Red Nails, you know, the giant IDW Barry Windsor Smith one.
Hey, shout out Wilbert. WB is going to do an animated Watchmen.
Yep, that was that. And a Justice League Crisis at Infinite Earths as well.
No
That
shit.
they announced.
Oh, they announced that today or what?
Yeah, that's that last night at the last couple minutes of the Justice League Warworld panel.
And then Lord of Brooklyn is saying, no Watchmen. Alan Moore doesn't want you paying for it.
Ah, fuck Alan Moore, whiny bitch. He's one of the greatest writers of all time, but not bitch. Yeah, I said it.
I saw a picture of Donny Cates at the con, dude. Like,
Was he wearing a jacket?
I don't know, man, but he's got like long hair. It looks like he's trying to turn into Alan Moore, dude.
He might have joined his cult, you know.
Yeah.
Alan Lest.
What
Alan
is it?
Less.
He's like Snake Cult or whatever it's called.
Oh, really? That's his religion?
It's something like that. It's something weird. Like it's like I think.
Oh no,
he
he's
thinks
flying
some-
spaghetti monster, right?
No, I thought he was like a wizard thing or something like that.
What
with
is
the,
some wizard thing?
Alan
Yeah.
Moore is
Yeah, Alan Moore is, but we figured
Chaos
that
Magician.
Yeah, we figured that Donny Cates might be joining that group.
Maybe.
I bet Clayton Crane would fit in too as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
So,
Crane is a god amongst men, yo.
so I mean I think we have a good idea to pitch to them. You know that they start this like crazy cult religion.
The
Snake
amount of
cult.
tongue I am biting, boys.
Snake
I just gotta
handler.
tell you.
Clayton Crane, man.
Yeah.
He pulled one of the greatest magic tricks of all time last year, and that's all I'm going to say. So
Making a man's wife disappear. Whoop.
Oh man,
The prestige.
Christopher,
Hey, you know what? He probably did him a favor, bro. You know what I mean?
In the long run, in a way, right?
Josh is being really quiet because he knew Black Flag before all that stuff happened.
Yeah,
comments?
it's crazy. Shit is crazy, dude. So crazy.
How's he
Never
doing
in
now?
a
Is he
million
better?
years would have saw that coming.
I just want to say I don't think we should take any pot shots at Sir Cates. I think that he's had a tough year. We should leave it at that.
he's been in my thoughts and prayers.
Yeah,
all
I-
kidding
I'm-
aside,
I think he's a good guy. He doesn't write for me, but I like what he writes, like in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's good for the hobby.
I think
And-
things are right in the world when he's writing good books, man. You know,
And I'm gonna agree with that.
I
I'm gonna agree
want
with that.
want Donny Cates back. I'm a huge fan. We just got in a couple of arguments a couple of times. That's okay, you know. But we need him back. That's for sure.
I almost toasted his bachelor party.
I was being ironical, Mr. Roboto, by the way.
That's
Sir
fair.
Cates,
I
that's
really
what
hope
comic
he's
time.
doing better, and you know my
Yes.
thoughts and
Oh,
prayers go to the man.
I sold a book and I'm glad I sold it from before the announcement that was announced today. Did you hear about
the electric
No,
book?
what was the announcement?
So Deadpool is being delayed. Deadpool 3 is delayed because of this.
So it's
yeah.
officially delayed
Well,
now.
of course,
Yeah,
everything's
yeah.
getting delayed. Anything that isn't shot is getting delayed. They have to stop
Well,
shooting.
Well, they had started shooting back in May, and then
Yeah.
they were still allowed to keep going during the WGA strike, right?
Sure. Yeah.
and-
Because the
and
script is
then-
already written.
Yeah, and then they just shut down
When SAG
production.
joined.
Yeah, so they just shut down.
Well, it's
production.
probably good. It's too fucking hot outside to shoot a movie anyway, dude. We don't need
Well,
these
that's not
actors
true.
dying and then they
Vegas.
can't make the movie.
And then so because they had the original date of like November, and then it got pushed backwards to May. They're thinking it's gonna be pushed back to November, but no one's really sure depending on how long the strike lasts, right?
Yeah.
I think this
mean-
is going to go on. I don't think they're going to cave. I think this because they can't. Honestly, the rights for those who are unaware of exactly what is behind the actors joining the strike, the AI element
Mhm.
is going to prevent any deal from happening until it is 100% completely excised from agreements going forth. It's going to have to be an impossible thing for any actor to be able to agree to have their likeness re-exploited, because where it really hurts people is not necessarily in the Black Mirror sense of Selma Hayek committing her likeness to be used in any way that is judged appropriate by a producer who has purchased it, but an extra who is in the background who gets paid $60 a day for crazy long hours with no overtime, who will be able to be digitized and posed and reinserted into the background of numerous films to make the crowds larger. The
That's a
guild is
scary
not gonna cave on this, so it's gonna go on until the producers have to agree with it. And the producers right now are doing really shady stuff, like cutting the trees that they don't own on city streets in front of their offices to provide no shade for the actors who are protesting. So expect this. Dig in. This is good for people who own content, by the way.
Are y'all interested in Blue Beetle at all, or
Fuck.
Is that-
I want to
no.
see it.
I'm looking forward to it. It looks fun.
I'll see it on TV, but I can't. I just don't like George Lopez, dude. Like, I really don't like it,
Really?
especially after he
What?
went after the young comic.
Which young comic?
Are you talking about Fluffy?
No,
No, not Fluffy.
This young kid,
Oh,
he's
he
like,
went after Fluffy.
Carlos. Oh no, he went after Carlos Mencina, right?
no,
No, it-
it's a new comic.
No.
He's
That's
like,
what Silla got
he's
after
like,
that son of a bitch.
I think he just turned 21. I forgot his name. He's an up and coming comic, and George Lopez went after him, and I thought it was kind of,
A punch down.
yeah,
Why?
absolutely, and I don't know why, because the young comic is Hispanic also, so I don't know why he's doing that, and not even close to the same type of comic. It's a different style and everything, so I just didn't understand that. But like George Lopez, is just something about that guy I don't like.
It's his
The
wandering
kid,
eye.
the kid playing Blue Beetle, very likable. I like that kid, man. He's I wish he would have played Nova. You know what I mean? Sam Alexander. He would have made a good Sam Alexander, in my opinion. But oh well. You snooze, you lose. You got to grab this young talent while you can. I mean,
I think this is Jesse James Comics, right? To be fair, Cates, he did have one person in line for a signing.
That's awesome.
One.
what happened?
That's Jesse
that's
James.
bullshit.
Jesse
Come
James
on.
Jesse
I
James
forget-
Comics.
Jesse
Was that
James
someone-
Comics.
Pester him
then-
at a urinal in the bathroom. I mean, come on. It's Donny Cates. If the dude is signing, there's hundreds of people because
mean-
signature's worth money. Come on.
I mean,
That's true.
before
Don't be
he
shitty.
really,
Don't be shitty, Jesse.
before he even like stopped writing comic books for a while or whatever, I did see him at Fan Expo Dallas, and he didn't have a line there either. And then someone I was walking around with Knife was like, "Hey, go approach him, see if he wants to be on one of the podcasts or whatever." And I was like, "Nah, I'm good," and then walked away.
Why?
I mean,
I'd like to hear his
Well,
take.
when was this? When was this? Because he was going through some divorce stuff and some
This is
separation
bef-
stuff.
this is before his divorce, so Megan Hutchinson was there as well.
So Megan was there. I've known Megan for a very, very long time. Full
Yeah.
disclosure.
So
Actually, because I know Megan from like March, and I think I'm still even now. Has been an interview silence.
She doesn't really do a lot of interviews, anyways. To be honest.
yeah, I mean, she was doing she was showing up with our friends over at Bird City on Comic Book Women and stuff like that.
She'll do stuff for the Heroes Initiative, and
Yeah, I was
doesn't
actually
really-
that was actually in exchange for me donating money to the Hero Initiative.
yeah.
I'll do that. I do it anyways, but if they can help me get my 2 dream interviews, I'll donate even more.
I think Donny Cates will make an Ali return to the ring. That's my prediction. Probably next year.
Yeah,
And it
I
looks
bet
like
he's
we have
working on
drama
his.
in the chat.
I bet he's writing his best stuff right now that we're not seeing, and when it comes out, it's gonna be different and it's gonna be amazing. I honestly believe that, and like I say, I never felt like I was part of his audience, but I see the appeal, and I think he's good for the hobby, and I think he's a good dude, and I bet that with a little bit more pathos and a little bit more life experience, that what he's got to the table now might be more intense and really incredible. I hope so.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Donny Cates' Venom run is like one of the definitive Venom runs of all time.
It's up there. And
Yeah.
a lot of people poo-pooed his Carnage run, which I thought it was
That was
pretty
a
incredible,
blast.
man.
It was that Carnage stuff that he did was a blast. It was fun.
Yeah. But
But
yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I hope he comes back.
But let's talk about the Eisners. The awards were last night. As I sit in front of a wall full of Nightwing art by Bruno Redondo, I'm obviously feeling pretty good about it.
Nightwing won.
But Bruno won hard. Yeah, Bruno won.
Awesome
Tom King won. Tinian won Best Writer. The thing that I was most disappointed was that Zoe Thorogood didn't pick up a competitive Eisner, but she did pick up a like a most promising newcomer award from the Eisners, which was pretty cool. I'm a huge fan of Zoe's. I think that her point of view as an illustrator and a layout artist is incredible, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of her work. She was nominated for Best Adapted from Other Material comic, and they had done an adaptation of Rain by Joe who is Stephen King's son, and it's an amazing short story, and the comic is phenomenal. So I was really hoping that would pull out the W, but it lost to something else. I think it was it lost to something written by Neil Gaiman. So I mean, you know,
Stan Sakai winning Best Lettering. Awesome. Best Digital Comic, Brainstormers by Scott Snyder and Tula Lote. Lore Olympius for Best Web Comic by Rachel Smith. I'm sorry if I did Smythe. Okay. Best Writer, James Tynion, like you said, for is it for all these titles or is it
just Best Writer, like Best Writer of that year? Yeah.
Best Writer Artist, Kate Beaton, Ducks 2 Years in the Oil Sands.
That's the one that surprised me because I really thought that Zoe Thorogood's It's Lonely at the Center of the Earth should have won, and it should have won big because it's such an amazing, like it reminds you of Love and Rockets. Like it's that level of quality and confession and like just opening up one's soul. So I was surprised that it went to the other piece, which is still an excellent comic, but I fell short in connecting with me, and I think time will tell.
Best cover artist was Bruno Rendon for Nightwing. I just want to see who else was nominated. Jen Bartel for She-Hulk covers; those were pretty good. Alex Ross with the Astro City that was then. Fantastic Four, Black Panther. Sana Takanda for Monstrous. Zoe Thorogood. Yep. For Joe Hill's Reign. Best publication.
Pete Stone for Mr. T.
What year was that?
And the T Force.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
I pity the fool. Don't read my comic book.
Best publication for
stay in school.
But best publication for early readers, The Pigeon Will Ride the Roller Coaster by Mo Wilms. Best publication for 9 to 12-year-olds, Fizzy by Clarabelle A. Ortega and Rose Bosmara. Best publication for teens, Do a Powerbomb, Daniel Warren Johnson. I've definitely heard a lot of excitement behind that title. I haven't read it myself.
I'm kind of, how do we qualify that it's aimed at teens? I mean, I've read Do a Powerbomb. Does that strike you as like aimed at teens, or is it just aimed at a general audience?
To
I have no idea what the criteria is to get nominated for an Eisner Award or how that's selected.
Best AI cover. Without saying it's an AI cover.
Chef's Kiss.
Greg Land, sorry.
Heartstopper. Best U.S. edition of International Material was Black Sad, They All Fall Down, Part 1.
I think anytime anybody sees Black Sad is nominated, it wins.
No, really?
I mean, it's very good, but it's a little tiring at this point.
Best U.S. edition of International Materials Asia, Shauna's Journey by Halzo Mizaki. Translation by Alex Duboc de Witt.
What else was nominated in that category? Can we see?
Oh, yeah. Black Paradox by Junto Ito.
Junji Ito probably should have won that. I mean, translating Junji Ito is not an easy task. It's a really, if you've ever translated Japanese to English, there's a whole language that's just dedicated to sound effects that we do not have in English. And so when you translate Japanese work and it's really sound effects heavy, as is Ito's work, I mean, but if you don't understand that nuance, why are you on the committee that makes these decisions? I'll leave it at that.
The Hellbound volumes 1 to 2, Yeon Sang-ho and Troy Gaisuki Seok.
Let's just read the titles.
All right, look back. PTSD Radio. Talk to My Back by Yamada Murasaki. And then winner of what is this? Best humor publication. Revenge of the Librarians. Best adaptation from another medium. Chivalry by Neil Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman, yes. Colleen Doran. I mean, so that was, people, again, they see Neil Gaiman's name on something and he gets the win whether or not they've read it. But I honestly think, and I think I've read everything that was nominated and a few things that weren't, that Rain by Joe Hill was really, really good.
I have to seek that out.
As a panel page comic, Zoe's panel pages are really, really incredible. Her pages are not that expensive, so if you're an original art collector, I would say buy in now because her rate's probably going to go a lot higher. She's starting to book much more prestigious work. I think she's booked something else at Image, and it's probably going to get more expensive. I don't have anything bad to say about it. I think her work is really, really good. I think that they deserved it.
Best archival collection / project is Come Over, It's So Magic and My Perfect Life by Linda Barry.
Linda Barry, Hall of Famer.
Best archival collection / project, comic books at least 20 years old. The Fantastic Worlds of Frank Frazetta, edited by Diane Hansen. So Diane Hansen is actually the editor for Taschen. Whenever you see a coffee table book in basically any bookstore in the United States, there's a better chance than not that it is a Taschen publication. If they have more, maybe they have Brazil. Best graphic album reprint, Parker, the Martini edition. Last Call.
That's good stuff.
Best penciler / inker or penciler / inker team, Greg Smallwood, The Human Target. Best coloring, Jordi Belair, The Nice House on the Lake, Suicide Squad, Ant-Man, Miracle Man by Gaiman and Buckingham, The Silver Age.
Which is a recoloring job.
Somebody put Aaron needs an ad blocker.
Best painter, multimedia artist, interior, Sana Taka. Yeah, The Night Eaters. She eats the nights. How many awards are there? Best publication design. I'm going to end it here. Winner Parker, the Martini edition. Were there any categories y'all do want to see? Let me know, and I'll try to find it.
Have you guys seen the movie Tough Turf?
Of course.
With Robert Downey Jr. and
yes, but so like the bad girl, before Spader gets involved, is the girl that gets shot through the ice cream cone in the original Assault on Precinct 13.
That's
she's also one of the Witch Mountain kids.
Yeah, what's her name? She's also I know this because my wife watches one of the Real Housewives of Atlanta or some shit.
Is she really on one of those shows now?
Yeah, Sarah Richards, right?
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Richards is her last name.
Kim Richards, isn't
Kim
it?
Richards. There you go.
Why is Tom King still allowed to write comics? I can answer that.
He's
winning awards for writing them.
I stumped sequentialism.
He's a CIA agent that is still allowed to instill stuff into our brains as we read his comics.
So you actually
just won the Eisner.
You actually had Ultron and Iron Man in a movie when they were kids, bro. James Spader and Robert Downey Jr. I suggest everybody watch this Tough Turf.
And there's also Less Than Zero. They're both in Less Than Zero. And of course, James Spader is the drug dealer / pimp that makes Robert Downey Jr. Perform tasks to feed his own habit.
Oh, wait, I'll have to check that out.
GTK comic, there was a Best Woke comic. So you'll have to read that website to find out. And then I thought this was pretty cool.
He's lying to you, by the way.
Will Eisner Hall of Fame inductees, Brian Boland by vote.
Sure. Bolland. So actually, it's
Bolland.
Brian Bolland, not Brian Boland.
Is Bolland?
It's Bolland?
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
balling, dude. He's balling.
I would have never known that.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Tim Sale by vote.
Yeah, Tim's amazing.
That's sad.
Diana Schutz. And there's a bunch of other names, and I'm not going to read all.
Does it say who won the Eisner Spirit of Retelling?
Eisner Spirit of Retelling.
Hey, so do the actors not want us to go to the movies since they're striking?
So the deal is that they don't want to do promo for the studios to get all the money from the movie actually making money. So it's kind of a, we're going to take a little hit so that you take a big hit kind of play.
Yeah, but didn't they get paid to do that job?
I mean, oftentimes you don't read it. It's not written into a contract that you have to do press. There are very few contracts that have it. Most actors won't agree to do it because they might be shooting another movie. Like, I can't promise to leave the set of a movie I'm working on to come do some bullshit press junket in Beverly Hills if I'm shooting in Shanghai. So, like, most actors reasonably will absolutely refuse. And studios use that as a bargaining chip, knowing they're not going to get it, to get something else. So I'm pretty sure that at this point it's kind of moot. You know, like, I think in a way they're kind of hurting cinema by not doing promotion, but I get why they're doing it, and I don't fault them for it. But a film like Blue Beetle might get hurt by it. You know, I don't think that Oppenheimer got hurt by it. I don't think a Tom Cruise film ever gets hurt by the fact that he almost never does press. I don't.
All right, so for the Will Eisner Spirit of Comics Award, do you have any guesses, Adam?
No, I did not.
It's Eaton Manhoff of Cape and Cow Comics in Oakland, California.
Interesting.
I think he's won a couple times, right? I mean, I don't follow that category.
I would love to know how many votes won that award.
Yeah. So. And then
I think Blue Beetle is going to suffer no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, the Flash did terrible
I've talked
numbers.
about this before with Hood, and I've talked about it a little bit with other people. I think that we're underestimating the Latino theater going.
See, that's
population.
A great point.
You know, that there's not a lot of media that is aimed at Latinos, and this film very clearly is. And I think that Latinos will come out and force to actually support it. And I think it's also, when you look at demographics of who attends films, Latinos attend films in groups more so than any other single demographic. So more than Caucasians, African Americans, Asians, Pac Islanders, that Latinos, when they go to the theater, go in groups, usually families. So you might have mom and dad and a couple of kids, 3 kids, or you might have groups. So those ticket sales are going to mean something in the same way that other demographics that tend to go in groups that tend to attend in groups are faith-based content films, and then films that are aimed at really niche special interests. Since there's not a competing Latino film in the marketplace, well, while Blue Beetle will be there, I think it will benefit from that. And I think it's going to do strong numbers. And I hope that those strong numbers are enough to get other people that might have been on the fence about it to go in and see it. And especially, you know, people like us, like, you know, Hood's like, I don't need to see it in the theater. And I hope that if we want more, like, from all intent, from what we've heard, I haven't heard anything bad about it. I think that they're even a little oddly kind of measuring against how much the hype may have hurt Flash. You know, that Flash came out after Across the Spider-Verse, had been being advertised to us for way too long a time for the current attention span. And I think that the audience was sort of lost in the middle. I think it was a good film. people can argue with me about that or not, but I think that it should have done a lot better than it did, and it was hurt by a longer lead from when we heard about it and when we got to see it. The great thing about Blue Beetle is that we really haven't heard anything about it yet, and I hope that the accolades start to cascade within a week or two of release, and that should hopefully give it some decent box office. But do we know what the budget was?
That's what I was just going to ask. How much?
Yeah,
what it
my next
was?
question too.
It's a cheap film, right? Like I think it's like a $80 million movie, so it's in that kind of same lower echelon that we no longer see films in.
So how in the hell is Secret Invasion $230 million, bro?
Sim Jackson gets a lot of money as an executive producer,
bro.
And then GTK comic. I don't plan to do a comic drama alert. I know a lot of people are asking, but I don't think it's fair if both parties don't have the ability to both be on, even though one of them is here that everyone's asking about. I'd rather just keep the conversation going on.
What happened?
I'd rather not. I'm not. They're not messing with me, but like I'd rather just not bring up the topic to discuss it at all. Like until.
Just excuse me from the dais for a minute.
Its budget was 120.
120?
Yeah.
I bet that includes M&A, oddly. And this is a funny thing. So, like, when Disney Marvel films release their budgets, and you always see people write about this, like, oh, it doesn't include the M&A budget. And so they assume that it's like another 100 million. With a Disney and Marvel film, they're getting so much money paid back in from product placement that pays for the M&A budget, and actually they keep some of that money. So when you see the budget on a Marvel Disney film, that budget, you can actually maybe even bring it down 5% as to how much it would have to make back, because there's so much that they're earning back in on other avenues, whether it's a McDonald's Happy Meal or a sneaker or some other product that adds up to really take away from, they take that money and that's how they allocate their advertising budgets now. Not the same the way that they do Disney animation, which actually still is kind of a standard thing. There are different metrics that they use, which are more, they're different types of product placements, which are like clothing for children, deals with places like Target or Walmart for clothing lines, and that helps to pad into that. But those are such different divisions on the animation side than it is from the marketing side at Disney that they become a whole different calculation. But at DC and at Warner, they aren't separated like that. And so, like, when you see a $120 million budget, they may be giving you like everything they're spending on it as the upfront accounting number, and they may be including the marketing and advertisement in that. Now, sometimes they hide those numbers, and sometimes they announce those numbers because they can be embarrassed about how much money they spent, or they may underplay how much money they spent to make a film seem a little bit more successful if it's on the cusp. I have a feeling in the case of Blue Beetle that they're probably packaging that so that it can seem more successful. If you understand, you get that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Something that we typically do on the show that we haven't done yet is we go over comments from our last show. So here are comments from our last show. From Make775 Daily. The ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Motivation. And then from Mr. Vanguard 8467. Well, that was both different and interesting. Thanks, fellas. Blood Sausage writes, Blood Sausage 9620 writes, yo, nice score on that X-Men 2 hood. Can I send you some books, bro?
Who was that?
blood underscore sausage 9620. So I think usually the typical comment is to hit you up on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm real fucking busy though.
Well, that's why.
Are you even taking anything new for pressing at the moment?
I heard what you said, Blind Adam. Like, I got you, bro. I'll send you my address. You hurt my feelings, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
I got you, bro. If you need something pressed, I got you, bro.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I thought we were gonna hear a comic drama thing.
No, man. No. Nah, man. Nah. I'll help anybody out, man. I
If I
gotta
say anything
catch
I hurt
up.
your
I gotta
feelings, I'm
catch up.
sorry, bro.
Wilbert slowed me down with this 100 books that he sent me.
Damn.
No,
Hey,
I have a Journey in the Mystery 85 I want to get pressed.
Fuck
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
I got you, man.
Yeezy, I gotta say this.
Yes.
So I see a comment, and
Who is it?
this drives me crazy every time I see it, and maybe it's meant to drive me crazy. I don't know. And it's this whole go woke, go broke is a fact. As much as you would love to believe that is true, there are way too many films that have made way too much money for that to be true. It's if you underwrite a film, you will under-earn, and that is the law of the jungle. It almost doesn't matter what your message is. I think if you look at what with the film with the #1 per audience average is, it is an independent film that is faith-based, not something that I think anybody would have banked on. And obviously, there's going to be a real there's going to be people that's not for them, right? And yet that movie's doing well. Why is it doing well? Well, they've got an amazing, numerous different marketing campaigns that are kind of guerrilla campaigns working behind it. And they all seem to be working really well. But the bottom line is the film is pretty damn good. And that the people who have been critical of it have so obviously not even seen the film that they seem to be picking at it for what they think it represents rather than what it is. And so when you say stuff like, go woke, go broke, you're doing that. You're using what you believe the ideology is to criticize the film rather than say, you know what, this film just isn't very well written. And I think it's way too easy of a buzzword. I think it makes you sound dumb. And I hope you're not dumb. I don't think you are. But when you say that stuff, it makes you sound like an idiot. And if we can elevate ourselves above T-shirt slogans for half a second, I know it's difficult, but I think we're all capable of it, that you can look and you can find really legitimately easy things to criticize about why things haven't succeeded. There are a couple of cases where they're not so intuitive. And I think with The Flash, we're looking at bad box office, and now we're kind of like armchair quarterbacking it. Like, why? How come it didn't do this well? Well, obviously, in hindsight, it didn't do this well because of this, that, or the other thing. And the truth is that none of those things are true. The reason that it didn't do well is that it suffered from when it was time for release. We waited too long for it. They told us it was the greatest thing since sliced bread for a really, really, really long time. And then we saw it and it was like, well, shoot, if I've been hearing it's amazing, it better be goddamn amazing. And while it's really good, is it amazing? And, well, I just saw this amazing Spider-Man film, which was fantastic. And I knew nothing about it going in and I loved it. And so I think the studios are having to learn this lesson of how do we market things? What's the attention span now? You notice that, we're going into more films without a long lead of press. Oppenheimer is now getting you're hearing the same types of things we heard about The Flash. This is the greatest movie I've ever done, says Robert Downey Jr. This is an amazing film. Well, is it an amazing film? I think it's a really, really good movie. I think that it's a powerful film. I think it's the type of film that Hollywood likes to shower awards upon. And I think that Robert Downey Jr. is going to get an Oscar for it. But I also think that it's not so much a cohesive script as it is a collection of vignettes. And that I think that was used as a mechanism of exemplifying quantum physics. Quantum is a collection of little individual things that you have to step back and look at to understand. And so we see this concept talked about in the film, and we never see an explanation of it. So instead, we're given kind of a living example of walking through this film, which has in its own way a relentless pace between vignettes that make you sort of understand the concept. That's amazing filmmaking. But is it entertaining filmmaking? Is it enough to make money on a 3-hour movie? That means less time, less showings per day, less ability to make a lot of money. So they kept all the press until the last 2 weeks before it opened. That's very different than The Flash. Hearing about that stuff, James Gunn was calling it the best superhero film he's ever seen 6 months ago. That impact only carries buzz until you move on to the next thing and forget about the last thing. So we're going to see a very drastically different approach to marketing going forward, I think, across the board, not just in superhero films, but in all films.
So who's going to buy Disney? Is it going to be Apple?
There's only discussion that it's even for sale. I mean, I think he's doing this to see if there's even a buyer for it, you know, like before they discuss that they pump their price. And that will change their release schedule. So if you know that you have a buyer, you're going to stick all your A stuff into the next quarter so you can get a sale in. And then they're going to, okay, so what's on the books? Oh, shit, nothing's on the books. We got to do a redo. Well, I guess we made a bad investment. That's what happened with Star Wars. They paid $4 billion for Star Wars.
Like a Disney iPhone or a Star Wars iPhone, like it's
If
etched.
Apple were to buy it, if Apple could afford it.
Yeah.
Do you think Apple's the buyer, or do you think Jeff Bezos is the buyer?
Ah.
You know, not that I know anything, but
Yeah. I don't know.
And then Jersey to the Bay is asking us, so the best single / one shot winner for the Eisner Award was the Batman One Bad Day, The Riddler by Tom King and Mitch Gerards.
yeah.
Did any of y'all read that particular one shot?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was good artwork. I didn't think it was all out of a story, but
Yeah,
I mean,
it wasn't.
That's one of the ones.
It wasn't the Killing Joke.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to like everything else that was written in it or in that category, it was Mary Jane and Black Cat Beyond by Jed McKay and CF Avila. And then I thought this was kind of weird that Moon Knight Black, White, and Blood #3. I mean, that's a mini series, but issue 3 was nominated for that. Star Trek #400, edited by Heather Antos, and a Vicious Circle #1 by Matt Tomlin and Lee Bermejo were also in that same category.
Vicious Circle would have been nice to see win. I think that it's subtle storytelling. I think it's overwritten. But I think it's kind of a weird crop. Like, I don't think they went deep enough. This is, in a way, for me, this is a very surprising year for the Eisners, because for a long time, it seemed like they were going completely away from superhero fiction. Like, for years, the Eisners were like, you'd read the Eisners, you'd be like, who? You know, like, if you were a DC or Marvel kid and you followed the Eisner winners, they threw you a pickle every once in a while, right? Like, you got like one nomination in 5 categories, and maybe one winner in 15 categories would actually take it home for a superhero comic. And in the last couple of years, you've had guys that are very famous for superhero comics. Is this Tynion's second year in a row winning Eisners? You know, and I read his stuff, and I think it's good. But I mean, like, I'm just wondering, are they reading everything? You know, like, are they reading manga? You know, like, are they reading stuff that's actually super intensely well written and crafted? And are they giving it the same criteria? And are they judging things on price point? Like, is that how the categories are breaking down? Are we seeing that there are comics that are, and is it fair to judge a comic that's $3.95 against a comic that's $12? I mean, like, this is a whole other maybe level.
See, now that's a great point. When you put a price point as far as I don't think that's pretty important, right? Because like a book that is that expensive, you're not going to get a lot of people to read it. You know what I mean? Number one. So I don't know how these things are judged. I mean, who votes for them? Do like LCSs like bubble it in like a Major League All-Star game? Like how is this tabulated? Is somebody like have security over the people that are counting the ballots? Like
I thought people in the Eisner who vote for it are like industry people. It's like
guess
it's
right?
like the Academy Awards thing situation, right?
I honestly don't know. You know, I think there are people that that maybe like in the Oscars, there are groups that get to put together the nominee lists and categories, and then everyone gets to vote on it. And then there's some categories that get wider. But like, you know, was Jim Chung's Catwoman series or book nominated this year? Is that considered this year, or was that considered last year for whatever reason for delays? Like, I thought that was incredible. You know, as far as superhero fiction, you know, I think a lot of the industry is moving towards horror and fantasy, and and different stuff that's just not tethered to pantheons that we're familiar with. And so to me, it's sort of strange in a year that the studios have sort of boycotted the convention, that there is the convention saying, oh no, we're still awarding superhero films. Come back next year because you pay a lot of our rent. I mean, I don't know, like, and how much of not to conspiratorialize that the Eisners are in any way influenced by San Diego Comic-Con, because I don't believe they are. But you know, are there statements being made from people that are industry, quote unquote, industry people, that are making nominations that they feel are going to be long-term good decisions for the industry rather than picking what the best books are? I mean, no matter what your award ceremony is, there's going to be people that have certain motivations for picking a winner versus others. And so, you know, like someone has accused, you know, this person in the comments, are there people that are trying to absolutely push a woke agenda via the awards? That's possible. That is 100% possible. If they feel like the best look for the industry at this moment in time is to pick this comic, this comic, this comic, this comic, which I certainly think happened at least 2 years ago, then is that considered good for the hobby? And are they now seeing that maybe that isn't good for the hobby? And now we got to go for some of like the kind of old boy fan favorites. Oh, people seem to like that Tom King guy. Oh, people seem to like, you know, this James Tynion guy. I don't know. Like, are they producing the best work out there? I don't think they are, but I'm not insulted by their wins. And I think that's basically how you have to judge any awards competition. Like, until something really left field wins the Oscar, most people don't give a shit. You know, they're like, you know, when The Shape of Water won.
About the Oscars is when Will Smith bitch slapped Chris Rock.
Right before the category that my executive producer won an Oscar at. But yeah, so that sucked for me. But you know, beyond that, I mean, like,
was it overshadowing? So does that overshadow your executive producer's award?
I think it could have helped kill our project at Netflix. But you know, when you really got to go back to like The Shape of Water to find a head scratching Best Picture. And yet, if you're a fan of comics, you love Guillermo del Toro, you're psyched that his movie won Best Picture. But you got to look at it from like the point of view of the layperson, and they're like, this movie about like some deaf lady fucking a fish won Best Picture. What world do I live in? You know, like, and that helps to like.
Wait, there is a movie about a deaf woman fucking a fish?
Yeah, it's called The Shape of Water. It's amazing. You gotta see it. It's crazy. But you know, like that causes those divisions between the governing body of the awards and the public. And that was the biggest kind of complaint in the 1980s against the Oscars, is that films like that were huge hits and considered excellent classic films like Raiders of the Lost Ark or E.T. were overlooked for Best Picture for films that made like 1/10 of the money, that we don't even care if they're on Blu-ray at this point. Like, you know, you can look at a guy, perfectly serviceable, great, you know, good film. I think it's a great film. I think it's a great performance. I think it's overly long. I don't think it captures the man really of the essence. I think it's a very British telling of the story, and it won Best Picture instead of E.T., and that's crazy. You know, you look at Ordinary People. Ordinary People is a really small film that is not aged particularly well, that beat out some tremendously better films by Steven Spielberg, and I think George Lucas probably in that year. And, you know, so we have to look at these things as little moments in time and like kind of political decisions made by governing bodies. And every award ceremony is like that. The Eisners are like that as well. But when you talk about whether or not that philosophy is successful, you can't look at an award ceremony because the financial aspect of it's already gone. The movie's already been released. It's already made its money or not. And maybe a small film can benefit from winning an award from a 2-week run back in theaters after it wins, or maybe exacerbate home sales or streaming rentals. But basically, it's too late. So like the politics of the film aren't really necessarily eminently aware until later, or unless people make assumptions about it. Is it really in there? Like when I see a lot of people saying like, oh, this seems woke or this is woke, it's like, well, yeah, look at some other films that you love that are 100% woke, but you love them because they were really well-made movies. Like, that's not the fault. The fault is not the politics. And sometimes the politics going against public opinion is what makes a movie good. When you look at how films about the civil rights or about disenfranchised populations did well or got awarded, and then years later we see them as masterpieces. But when you look at how the feeling was among the general public who hadn't come along that far yet, we now know that we were wrong. So sometimes Hollywood is ahead of the curve. But if it succeeds or fails, really is based on, does it entertain? And to an extent, do I feel preached to? Because you can make your statement and you can make your point without being a dick about it. And I think a lot of films are dicks about it. And that's really what people are complaining about when they say things that sound like dumb t-shirt slogans that belittle us all. But at the end of the day, what they're really saying, but they want to be like a jerk about it, is that film didn't entertain me. And it didn't entertain me because I have a different belief about life. And I think if we understand things in those terms, we can make Hollywood make better movies.
Or you could always just vote with your dollars. It's always the bottom line.
You know what?
At the end of the day, right?
I just thought I'm gonna go live at the Corpus Christi Comic Con, dude, and I'm gonna cause as much trouble as I possibly can.
Do it.
Just don't get kicked out, right?
Nah, I won't get kicked out.
Nice.
I hope I find I hope a dealer goes in there with some like old ass magazines that he doesn't think they're worth anything, and I can scoop them up, like old comic con magazines and shit like that.
Oh man, any
That's
publications
my jam,
about
actually.
stuff,
That's what I'm looking
good
for.
to buy.
Yeah.
I would love a full set of Amazing Heroes. Like,
Yeah.
I want that more than anything in my life, because that's what connected to me. That's what made me feel good about reading comics, that smart people were writing really intelligent things about comic books in a publication that didn't make me feel like dummy, but also like made me feel good about Lev and what I loved, whether it was the X-Men or American Flag or Mage. I mean, I wasn't a huge Elf fan, but I was good. I was happy to see it get coverage because it sort of connected to my Dungeons and Dragons fandom. So like that stuff to me is gold.
You know what I want to do? Honestly, I want to like sneak behind and go into Artist Alley and go have a seat and act like I'm an artist and just put some comic books next to me and see if somebody will ask for like a piece done, and then I just draw a fucking stick man on their blank sketch cover.
So you're gonna pull a Tom King.
Yeah, man.
You know,
I mean,
Right, just scribble in some
I know-
crayons.
You know what you should do? You should also grab a pile of those Tom King April Fool joke books and then like sign them too while you're at it. Like have them for sale and just like be like, oh yeah, I'm the artist for this as well.
very Salvador Dali, right? Provide a method for people to bootleg your work.
Yep.
Be like the Salt Bay and just drop little pieces of paint onto the cover.
You know,
And then like remove or move the paint around so it ends up being a stick figure and all that.
I don't know, man. There's nothing good on TV, dude. Like, what the fuck, man? I'm like,
ain't gonna
well,
change.
yeah,
Ain't
I'm,
gonna
I'm,
change.
I'm watching like fucking like World Trade Center, a 1993 documentary. You
well,
know,
I always thought it was really
like
funny.
there's nothing else to watch.
Well, see, I always thought that argument was really funny, right? That, oh, we're getting too much content to watch. There's too much to watch. I haven't watched that yet, blah, 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 blah. And then we're at this time period now where you can catch up on stuff that you haven't seen yet or wanted to watch. And it's almost like the sky is falling because we don't know when the next time, something new is coming out, right?
You know, the way movies are set up now, and you guys can agree with me or disagree, I don't give a shit. But like, I don't see movies propelling actors into that superstardom where you can't wait for their movie to come out. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
like a Tom
like a new
Cruise.
actor. Yeah.
Like who's the next big actor, right?
So you're
Like I
saying
can't
that
tell you. Like who's the
can't
next
figure out
Leo
who the next big
DiCaprio?
shit is.
Who's the next mega superstar? Like who?
I
Like,
mean, the last one seemingly is Chris Pratt.
yeah,
like
you could
that-
say that. I mean,
If you
like,
look at his box office, it seems to tell a story. But again, is that box office the Chris Pratt story, or is it the Guardians of the Galaxy story,
Yeah.
the Jurassic World
I
story.
think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. I mean, if he sucked, people
Look
wouldn't
at his
see it.
personal
Right?
No,
story
are we to the point
where he
where
was
we'll
for how-
never
for how he
see
got
that
there.
again? Is what I'm saying. Like, are we ever going to see like someone put Tom Cruise as the only real movie star? Like, will we ever see another Tom Cruise that Will Smith, believe it or not, was that guy for a little bit. You know, he made some different choices and went kind of the other way, but you know, you had Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stallone and stuff, but like you don't have those actors anymore. Like I don't see a path, if that makes sense.
Jeremy, you can reach out to me on Instagram. I guess would probably be the best. Like if it's something live, I don't have the whole Discord setup thing, like Bryan does usually.
That's a good one. The Rock, yeah. I mean, I like The Rock, but
at the same time, do you think that's still a thing in this time period too?
That's what I'm saying. Will we ever see that?
Like I mean, but that's the whole thing too, right? With Hollywood, that you raise a superstar to be at the peak at the top, and then you just love to watch, like people just in general love to watch the decline. Like you mentioned Tom Cruise, like he started going crazy like with the whole Scientology thing or whatever the media presented to us like with that. I mean, is he still getting movies and doing movies in Hollywood? Yeah, he is, right? But I mean, it like situations like that, it's kind of like in one ear out the other.
Yeah, a lot of those situations. Tom Cruise were like 20 years, almost 20 years removed at this point too. The whole couch jumping.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. Yeah, but he's also not done an in-depth interview since then. Like he's really avoided mainstream press. He will occasionally do a junket, but he's never done like a Barbara Walters style interview the way that a lot of actors are kind of looped into doing in the press for films or for their careers. But again, to your point, this is really important. Tom Cruise has maybe singularly among any other actor of his generation, age, or demographic had a focus on quality and only been doing a single genre. So Tom Cruise has done nothing but action films for about the last 20 years. Like you got to go back to like Magnolia to see him do like an acting film, to see a drama. Really whereas, Brad Pitt has done like this movie, that movie, this genre, that genre, and they don't always connect. I also don't think Brad Pitt has the charisma of Tom Cruise, but I think that when you look at
best role, Deadpool 2.
Yeah, short but sweet.
I mean, he was true romance. Bro.
I mean, he was invisible the entire time, right?
I mean, everybody in True Romance gave the best performance.
Oh yeah, Val Kilmer when he played Elvis.
One of Tarantino's best
Shoot
movies.
his fucking head off.
Tarantino's best movie that he did not direct himself. Absolutely. But when we look at these different metrics of measuring things, it's tough, right? Because are the studios now of the opinion, why are we building stars when we can build franchises? So like, we don't want to make Chris Evans a star, but we love Captain America. Like, we don't want to make Keanu Reeves a star, but John Wick is a franchise that will go on without him. And they're going to be making an animated series about the hotel, or maybe a live action series about the hotel. So, I mean, this is how a studio thinks. A studio thinks the more success you get as an actor, the more I have to pay, the more budget my film is going to require, the less profit I make. So, from a studio point of view...
Hold on real quick. Jeremy, hit me up on Instagram, and then I can see if I can help you out with the Makari issue. I don't know too much on that back end, but just hit me up on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, let me know if you're on the Discord. I have the same username on there as well. So, all right.
I mean, we're talking Robert Downey Jr. He's going to win his Oscar. But this may be his only majorly successful film outside of a Marvel movie. His other films have tanked. And it's not that he's not a good actor; he's good in stuff. And he's even picked good projects and directors with like the Sherlock Holmes films, which he picked one of the number one indie kind of crossover director guys with Guy Ritchie, and they just did not connect. So and again, you could make the argument that Sherlock Holmes is a franchise that anybody could portray. So like,
why what
does it come down to?
Hey, you know what? Since you brought up Sherlock Holmes, right? And I'm gonna since Aaron called me out on my ADHD, I'm just gonna completely take a left turn.
Okay.
Why didn't they make the sequel of Young Sherlock Holmes?
Because the movie didn't do well.
But it was good.
I think it was also the film that really introduced the American public to steampunk.
That's true.
You never see anybody talk about that. Like, if you're going to make a list of the greatest steampunk films of all time, you have to start with the film that started the genre, which would be Young Sherlock Holmes, which sort of took that approach of the Wild Wild West TV series. And, the film is so abysmal. As much as we love to see Superman fighting the giant mechanical spider in those seconds in the Flash movie.
Yeah.
In Wild Wild West, it was garbage. I don't think it gets enough attention, but I don't think a lot of the films that Spielberg produced that other people direct get enough attention. And nor do I think that his non-genre films get enough attention. I think that maybe one of his best films is Empire of the Sun, which is a film that introduced us to, Christian Bale.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Christian Bale and Willem Dafoe, on screen together. And it's an incredible film based on an amazing novel. But it underperformed because it wasn't what people wanted from Steven Spielberg back then. I think that film might have even been before The Color Purple, but I'm not sure. Or right around that same time.
Yeah, I think it was. What are you talking about? Empire of the Sun or the?
Yeah.
I think they both came out in like 85, right? 85 or
sounds about right. 85, 86, something like that.
Color Purple might be first, but again, it might have been just like, well, okay, we want another Indiana Jones movie, or we want E.T. Part 2. And then when people realized that Spielberg was capable of more, he may have lost the kind of general audience, but then he gained a critical audience. And certainly by the time you see Schindler's List, you're like, this is a master filmmaker. This is one of the greatest filmmakers we've ever known. And, and he's capable of handling very important subject matter in a very, careful and well-considered way. So, I don't know. I don't know if it is possible for another star to be born, but I'll tell you this. If the right music star were to decide at the right point in their career that that's what they wanted and they had the notion for being a good performer, they could do it. I think Taylor Swift is actually, and I hate to say this out loud, but I think she's too old to do it herself. I don't think she wants it. But if Olivia Rodrigo wants it, Olivia Rodrigo will get it.
Fucking Taylor Swift.
Hey, don't talk about Josh, Taylor Swift, man. That's Josh's girl, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he's banking on some of her merchandising. Like, I'm supposed to send out some tickets to grade. I think I have one.
Yeah, ticket stubs.
Yeah.
Actually, if anyone can score one of those autographed Taylor Swift CDs, I'll gladly pay for it.
Taylor Swift ticket, and then he has one from her very last show that was in that unused ticket from that from this last tour, right?
An unused ticket?
Yeah, an unused ticket.
Man, that's like throwing away a winning lottery ticket. I mean, those tickets were worth thousands of dollars. Well, a nosebleeder seat was worth $6,000.
Well, at the same time, too, to find a printed ticket in this day and age as well. On top of that, we're talking about your Taylor Swift tickets.
That's why he came back. That's why he came back, bro.
He's like, don't get on my girl.
Dude, no.
Yeah. So I was showing off your VIP ticket.
Yeah. So
and then I was like,
VIP ticket to boot.
I'm sad because her first concert ticket that I got, a little piece was ripped off of it, and they kind of put it back together with tape.
Excuse me, Josh. What's your concert tour?
Who put it back together with tape?
I'm assuming whoever I bought it from.
Okay,
it's a tiny little piece of tape.
And they were doing you a favor.
Ooh. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you had that, I think it probably without having the tape on there, and just having that chunk of corner missing, I think that would be better than having the tape.
Dude, I don't want
added.
to take that tape off.
Oh, that's
Somewhere
true.
I have an autographed cassette tape of Folklore that I got from her.
I will fuck that ticket up.
That's why you send it to Redhood.
Hey, you want me to try and take the tape off? for you, bro?
Yeah, here, I'm gonna go grab it so I can show you how small the tape is.
All right. While he's doing that, let's go over what Bryan usually does with the talking about some books from FOC.
Hey, hold
So-
on real quick. I was thinking of a new game that we could play. And I was telling Bryan, but I don't think I told you, Aaron. So
Okay.
everybody's got like their local most wanted, right? And it's got mug shots of people.
Yeah,
right?
you were.
And
You,
you know what
you
I'm
told me
talking about?
Yeah, you told
Right?
me about that.
So you just hold up a mug shot of somebody, and everybody's got to guess what crime it is. And
Yeah.
all these motherfuckers look like murderers or ex-murderers, but you'd be surprised, right? Like forging government documents. Of course, there's theft.
I'm
There's,
just so afraid, this being on the internet and all, that
Yeah,
the comment section is going to turn into the most egregious session of racial profiling that the world has ever known.
Well,
Yeah.
I could filter it to have like all white people, you know, and that way it's just like all vanilla.
That's assumptive, but
yeah. I mean, I don't
Does it
want to
turn
it would be
do.
out-
unrealistic.
On the nominations of shows that get canceled. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not trying to mess up Bryan's channel that much while he's gone. So, yeah, if you have something organized for that, like we can go for it.
We
but
can show
Okay,
the JFK.
so
I'm not. I'm not.
Hey,
pulling
you know
up
what?
some-
Let's test the waters, okay? So let me just show one to see what it would be like.
God.
Oh my god, we're gonna get
JFK.
canceled.
No,
Brian's
we're
ne-
not.
Brian's never gonna let me do another show again.
No, come on.
I mean, Aaron,
Okay.
honestly, I think what I've had to say has been more offensive to his audience than anything Red Hood can show us right now. So don't sweat it.
Okay, we're gonna make it real
That'd be no
simple.
worse than
We're
Wednesday
gonna make
night.
it real simple.
Okay,
Guess the crime.
cannibalism.
Is that your final answer?
That's my guess. We can let comics
Matt,
come in.
Matt,
and
would
then
you like
other-
a part in
other-
this, Matt?
I need to zoom in on this. Okay, I need to see. Wait, hold that. You know who that dude looks like? Is William Zabka from Cobra Kai.
Yeah. Look,
So I gotta guess drunk and disorderly
Okay. What did you say, Aaron?
and possible vandalism.
I said cannibalism.
So,
Oh, wait.
uh,
Josh or Adam.
oh, Josh, you want to crack at this one?
Bro, I'm not even. No.
I'll go with drug smuggling. What the hell?
Okay.
Yeah.
I will tell you what the crime is.
And then let's see if anyone in the chat is correct.
Drum roll, please.
Evading arrest, and theft. Theft and evading arrest.
Theft and evading arrest. Let's see if anyone has theft. I don't see any theft in the
See,
comments.
I'm telling you, it's
expecting way
hard,
worse.
bro. I'm telling you, it's hard. What about this guy?
Okay. He was arrested for possession of drugs.
I hope it's for impersonating an officer, but I know that that's not what it was.
I'll say pandering, whatever the hell that means.
Nope. Anybody in the chat got an idea?
Oh
No?
my.
Continuous violence against the family. And yeah, that's all it has. Continuous violence against his family. Without bond, currently unavailable. Yeah, that's all we got. But
Yeah.
violence against his family.
On
Somebody
a
was,
different
someone was pulling on his ponytails, bro.
on a different. If I was on a different channel, my guess of impersonating an officer would be the win. I'm just gonna say that.
All right, so back to the comic news. We're gonna go over to left rows and cover price FOC picks of the week, and then we'll also head over to economics and comics books to see what's available for final order cutoff.
Right? See, so that could be a thing, man.
Zoom. Zoom. What's that say? What's that say, Josh?
So this is the ticket.
I love that we're
See
still on Taylor Swift.
See the tape?
Yeah.
Like you can see where. Oh, hold on.
You can steam that off.
Yeah, you can see the tape.
Oh, so there's like a little tear there, and then they put a piece of tape on there.
Yeah. You can. It's hard to see on the camera,
Look at
but
the
like,
tape. How big is the
yeah,
tape?
there's like a tiny little piece that ripped off, and they put it back and put that.
Oh,
little
so it
piece
is
of tape right
separated
there.
from the ticket, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Wait, is that from her first concert ever?
It's from the first tour. I don't know if it's
Okay.
the first like concert on
within that
tour.
tour.
Man,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
That's her first.
Yeah,
major
like I'm
tour.
afraid if I try to take the tape off, I'm gonna fuck it up, bro.
I
I'm
don't
not
think
doing
that would count as like resto or anything. It's just I would say it's conservation more than anything. Just trying to.
But it's
hold
going
it
to
together.
PSA. This going
Yeah.
to PSA. I don't know how they grade tickets. To be completely honest.
Yeah,
Probably,
especially
yeah.
ones with
It's-
I
tape.
did
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
0.5 with a tear in it, right?
for comics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sell it now. I just bought
Don't
it.
get it graded. Just put it in
Oh,
one of those
you-
like hard
you-
shells.
Do you know what you could do? You could send it to PSA and get it authenticated instead
I
of
could
having it
just-
grade.
Yeah,
instead of
maybe
having-
I'll just do that.
Instead of just having a grade. But yeah, I mean, because if Red Hood removes a piece of tape and then it's incomplete now,
Mhm.
then it's still gonna
Yeah.
only get like what? Probably not even a 2 or something like that. Maybe like a 4 at best.
Yeah, I don't even
Yeah.
know.
All right, so we're getting Red Hood, pull up 2 more mug shots.
Okay.
Because the people are really liking this segment for
Oh
whatever
my
reason.
God.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
here we
And
go.
then we'll do FOC right after that.
Here we go. What'd this guy do?
Oh, that's messed up, man.
Describe it to me, Red Hood.
It's a bald head man with a goatee.
heard of
He
that.
has messy hair, like in that horseshoe shape. No glasses. His head's kind of crooked.
All right, that's good. Thank you, Foggy Nelson.
Grand larceny.
Grand larceny.
You want that grand larceny? What the heck?
Hit and run.
Ooh, hit and run. And I'm sticking with my good old possession of drugs.
No, continuous violence against the family.
Oh my god.
I bet
What
that's
is
the
wrong
other
with-
dude's brother.
What's wrong with your area?
Okay, here we go.
DUI.
Solicitation.
Prostitution.
Yeah,
Yes,
prostitution.
solicitation and pandering, whatever the fuck that means.
No, this one is possession of controlled substance.
Damn it!
Excessive violence against the family.
These. Hey, I got one. Here we go.
What? He
public-
ran naked through the center of town.
I was gonna
That
say.
dude-
I was
He
gonna say
definitely
public.
ran naked through the center of town.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Public
public
nudity.
nudity.
Dad.
This
Makes me think of Tim Robinson. Aw.
Public nudity at the beach.
Disorderly conduct.
Hey, from the side, it kind of looks like a young Jesus.
Punching a kid.
No, this one is burglary of building, and then failed to ID fugitive FRM justice refused I don't know, and then without bond.
Wow,
So-
man, the 2020s have been rough on you, Mariquai.
All right, last one.
Last one.
Murder.
Shoplifting.
Pandering.
Prostitution.
Let's see. Where's violence against no, I'm just kidding.
Dude, I was about to be like
This one is
hitting a kid.
no theft. Just a-
Shoplifting, I'm going to take that as a win.
Yeah,
Shoplifting and theft is the same thing.
hopefully I don't get killed.
All right.
Hey, Vato, I saw you putting my picture on Modern Comic Mayhem. They say I'm gonna kill you.
You
And
have
then
to highlight that comment by Mr. Roboto. It's magic.
Which
Unlawful
one?
carnal knowledge. Yes.
All right.
That is dope, dude. That is hilarious.
All right, let's get into FOC and try to get back on
I
track.
I am going to make an app of that game. I'm going to make that a game, dude.
Go for it.
Do you think it would be a good game, dude?
I think it's
Uh,
awesome.
Think of it.
Yeah.
You're at the airport and you got to guess the fucking crime, dude. I'm
Yeah.
going to be a millionaire.
Yeah, as long as those people don't find out or their families, because I'm pretty sure you could probably get in trouble for.
Nope, public
molesting.
record. An
That's
arrest
public
public
record.
record.
Okay,
I've already researched this, Aaron.
nice.
Dude,
Go for it.
You got me crying over here. Like,
Brad, I spoke out against this at the beginning, and now I am party to this disgrace.
All right.
So anybody that knows how to work on an app, let's collab and we'll split the
As long
profit.
as I was going to make sure there's an audio description function in the game, I'm all for it. This way, visually impaired and blind people can play too.
Yeah.
All right.
What
so
you're
this
looking
is
at is a cracked out meth head with long hair and braids.
Yep.
all right. So
What did
this
they
is from
do?
Leftovers.
I'm gonna
and Cover
create a
Price.
competing app that's called Method
And
or
this
Guidance
is the
Counselor.
FOC selections for the week of July 23rd. So shout out to them. If you're over at San Diego, say what's up to Cover Price. All right. So for the first week they have, or for this week they have Night Terrors Catwoman #2, cover B, stunning cover by Tula Lote.
Who just won an Eisner.
Nice.
Mama.
All right. Is anyone reading the Night Terrors?
No.
I'm reading some of it. I'm enjoying what I'm reading, but there's just way too many of it.
Yeah, because they're all only doing like what, a main storyline and then like a couple issues for each character that they're doing, right?
Yeah. And it
I'm
just seems like
just
every
gonna
idea that
say
I'm
it. I'm gonna say it like this. I have a funny feeling these covers are gonna be the new hip hop covers. Like there's gonna be ghosts out there, hard to find ones, and this will be a thing. It just gives me that vibe.
But I mean, but people have been saying that about DC covers for the last like 2
no,
or 3
but
years.
this is a little bit different though.
Yeah,
don't know.
I agree with Hood.
Is it?
I think it's a little bit different. Like
Also, Tula Lote is not so prolific that her work is so common. You know, if you're going to compare her to someone like a Peach Momoko, who's extremely prolific, like it seems like there's multiple variant covers every week. There was a time where her work was rare and it became very appreciated, and then it kind of hit a point where it's like it was everywhere, and the appetite dwindled. I think Tula Lote is still like one of those people that if you were going to dedicate a portion of your collection to collecting her covers, that there are not so many of them that you could accomplish it and that it won't cost you a fortune, and that eventually that will pay off the way that people who collected covers from, you know, Scott Campbell and in a prior generation, people like Dave Stevens or maybe even Art Adams are now seeing that those are hard to find in great condition. So there may be something to it, Hood. There may be something to it.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Tula Lote a lot. I've gotten commissions from her. She's a pleasure to meet. So if you ever get a chance, say what's up.
Talk turkey. How much was the commission and what size was it?
It was $250 for a blank comic commission.
So a
that's
comic board.
not too
Oh no,
bad.
no, for a sketch cover.
For a sketch cover, yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
not that bad.
And then she didn't do a full color scheme on it, but she did add some. She did the inks, and then she did some color splash to it. So
Right on.
Remember what I said? Like if you get a commission by somebody and then you get the comic and you go,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Right,
go
right.
see. I'm gonna go see if another artist will fix this. I'll be right back. And you
I mean,
take it
but-
from- and can you
but-
color this?
I mean, but that's a common thing to do as well, right? That like one artist will start doing, you know, the inks and the sketch part of it, and then someone else will color it throughout.
Oh,
the-
I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fan pieces are the bomb. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because
That kind of sucks because that ruins kind of like a gag I would want to pull, but
Yeah,
But jam
but-
pieces, when it's not just like an inker or a pencil or an inker, those can get scary because you might have like 15 people, like you bring that same thing to a bunch of different tables, and you get 7 amazing pieces, and number 8 just fucks it up.
Well, I
Oh,
mean, but
wow.
a lot of times when people do that, it's usually combo teams that work together on other stuff that they've seen. It's what I've seen done before. I mean, I haven't worked on something like that, but it sounds pretty cool. All right, let's see what else Leftovers has put on this. Void Rivals #1, the third print.
Oh wow, it's gone to a third printing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I do like this cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool as shit, man.
How many printings do you think this is going to go to?
5.
Ooh.
I
Yeah,
guess I'm gonna,
that's what I was gonna say.
say.
And in 2 years, how much are all of them going to be worth?
Man, you know, Matt, you know,
Be surprised.
my thing is like there's gonna be one of these that people will be on the hunt for because they didn't pick it up. And it'll
I
be
mean, if it sticks, like does the series stay good? We don't know that. There'll be a rumor in 6 months that it's been, purchased for adaptation, and then that'll get exciting for a second, and then the year will roll around and nothing will happen, and then 2 years will roll around and it would completely fall off the map. I mean, look at things that have succeeded. Look at the ones that have gotten actual shows. With the exception of maybe like The Boys and Invincible, nothing that isn't Marvel or DC has really stuck. I mean, like every other show has just kind of like it hits on the announcement and then it just crashes ever after. Paper Girls. People were paying $400 for like a 9.8 of Paper Girls #1 not that long ago.
But
Now you get them for like
Transformers-
$75.
But Transformers is like, I feel like a different beast. Like
Transformers
Transformers
is
and
a
G
comic.
and G- and G- and G.I. Joe.
Transformers series coming out in October.
There's a
Right,
Marvel
but-
Comics.
but-
Marvel Comics.
Yeah, so but I mean, but Skybound is getting the rights to do all these comics now, right? So I think it's going to
So
be
is
great.
Skybound's first comic going to be worth anything? No.
So it's going to be what's going to drive it is going to be the merchandising. Mattel, if they want all these products to succeed, to sell more toys and all that, I think they're gonna drive that more than the comic books.
I'm curious to see how Void Rivals does overseas, like in Japan.
Yeah,
Right, that story.
And then-
What do you think, Josh?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if they get stuff like this over
Yeah,
there.
they got their own mecha, right? They have their own
Right, but-
generations of their own mecha.
Would it be considered because it is Transformers? I'm just saying, like, would we be able to cross over the way they cross over here? You know what I mean? I'm just asking because I'm like, I don't know any.
So a lot of those Japanese trades and stuff like that are the books with the obies and those usually come out like what, a year later compared to
like a year or two.
Yeah, depending
Now,
on what
how
the
would
era.
Avoid Rivals look with the Obi? Like,
Dude, it'd be sick.
right, dude? I'm just telling you.
It would need to be like, it would need to look metal, like beat up metal wrapped around the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then to compete in the market like the Japanese market with a bunch of mechs, that's going to be completely different.
I will throw $20 at this, and if it works out, it works out, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't.
But
All right.
Kirkman is attached to it, and
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how Invincible season 2, because didn't they
Did you
announce
watch?
season-
Yeah. Did you watch Adam Eve? The
Mm-mm.
hour-long episode.
No, was it good?
It's good. It's on Prime right now.
No shit.
Yeah.
That trailer looks phenomenal.
Yeah. So and then the trailer's on there as well. They have a date for season 2, which is November 3rd. All right. Issue 2 for Void Rivals is getting a second print.
Already?
Nah.
Yeah.
God, I don't like that cover, man.
Did anyone read issue 2?
Hey, Lorenzo De Lafici, man, not good, bro. Not good. I hope you don't get mad at me, dude. Like, but, bro, it looks like a fucking Gamorrean guard, dude. You know what I mean? Like a sketch of a Gamorrean guard from Jabba's palace, dude.
Might have been.
Alrighty.
Hey,
And,
I can assure you that's not AI.
and then Void Rivals number 3, cover A, is on FOC as well. And
Sounds
apparently
like a theme.
there's a new villain. So Leftovers and Cover Price, they just I think they just pick a handful of books out of FOC that they think will do well, or something like that.
I mean, are they taking money? You know, like, is this this sponsored post?
For Leftovers or for Cover Price?
Cover Price.
This show is sponsored by Cover Price, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's find out.
Yeah. I think Bryan's still working out the code for the subscription thing. And then for another book on FOC is Moon Knight City of the Dead number 2, team reintroduction. And then I think there was a first appearance in issue 1. And then possible origin of Jackal Knight.
And then this is the issue that has the 1 in 100, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, with a Rose Mesh one.
Yeah.
And then if you haven't seen the Bill, I'm gonna butcher his last name, Bill S.
Sienkiewicz.
There you go.
Hey,
Yeah.
Hartman,
His
I was
1 in
just,
25 is badass.
Hartman, I was just assuming it wasn't AI because it was a shitty cover. That's why I said it.
Yeah.
I can assure you it's not AI. Because if you're gonna go through all that fucking trouble to use AI, wouldn't you want it to be like pretty badass? Like if you're gonna get in trouble for fucking using AI, like have a great cover. At least go out swinging. You know what I mean? Don't have
Yeah.
a shit cover and go, hey, that's AI.
Yeah, if you're gonna take steroids, use the full
Yeah,
dose.
man, go all the way in, man.
You
Go all
take
the
the
way.
orgasm, do it right, man.
I mean, clearly, I'm not reading that series. Maybe tell me, people, you guys know, is that the first appearance of that character, and so like that makes that character on the cover special?
So that character was already within the Moon Knight series, and then
No, not this one. You were talking about that terrible previous cover.
Oh, are you talking about one of the Void Rivals?
Yeah, the one that looked like a Gamorrean guard.
This one?
No, previous. That one, like, is number 2. Is that like the first? Next, slide over.
The other way.
The other way.
That
And
one.
scene, yeah. So, the Lorenzo De Felici cover, is that like an image of a character that first appears in that comic? And therefore, by putting him on the cover of a second print, it makes it kind of nice. No one's reading it, so no one knows. That's everything you need to know about investment potential.
I mean,
None of us know.
Yeah, I mean, I have issue 1. I can't remember if I read it or not. But I know a lot of people that haven't read like Transform comics before are getting into this title. So I think that's kind of cool that it's introducing a new audience into Transformers compared to the people that grew up on it in the 80s. So, all right. And then Leftovers has a Spider-Man number 10, second printing. First, Spider-Man and Spider-Boy team up. Second print.
Can't wait.
Yay!
I mean,
Wee!
Spider-Boy, he's living more issues than I thought he would.
Spider Boy, he's really not a fucking toy. Spider Boy. No, okay. Sorry.
Muchacho Arachne.
All right. And Star Wars, Dr. Aphra, number 35, the La Roca variant. This is a homage to Star Wars 1. I like this cover.
Middle of the run. No new characters. No one's going to give a shit.
No?
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
So what's this going for? What's this selling for? This is
a FOC, so it's for a final order cutoff. It's not even. So it's gonna be a $4.99 cover price.
FOC, fuck.
I mean, if you like tributes to Spider-Man number 1, sure, why not?
So Star Wars 1.
this is definitely a digital cover because LaRocca is digital now.
Yeah. I plan to order this, and then if you don't have it, hit me up afterwards if you want it. All right. Venom number 25, the anniversary issues, is a Scotty Young variant.
I don't get the Scotty Young appeal, guys. I'm sorry. I just don't get it.
It's different. It grew on me, man. At first I didn't like it. Now I dig it, man.
I mean, so could nail fungus, but there's things you can take for that. I mean, I get when it was fresh and it was new, it was kind of cute in like a Fred Hembeck kind of way. But the fact that he charges so much for his drawings, like a Scotty Young cover costs as much almost as, I mean, certainly more than a LaRocca cover, a hand illustrated LaRocca cover when he was still doing that. I mean, and I begrudge nobody what people are gonna pay them for their work. But I just don't think it's very interesting or cool anymore. Like it was of an era, and now it's just this thing that he only does covers. They're simple drawings, and they cost usually a lot of money.
I think that it's the harder to find Scotty Young books that really, and ones that you forgot about really have that appeal. The short print runs, they like all this really blew up on Whatnot. Do you remember when people just started putting Scotty Youngs on Whatnot and it just caught fire? Like I think Mel had some. I want to say Aaron had some. Like and it just Josh may have had some. I can't remember, but like there was a point there for like 2 or 3 months, man. It was like getting Scotty Youngs and putting them on Whatnot, man.
Oh yeah.
But that happened with like a bunch of different kinds of, because then there was like the hip hop craze on Whatnot, and everyone was selling the hip hop covers.
Then it's the Battle Line variants, right? It's like, but I mean,
that's right, yeah.
And then, but at the same time, like Scotty Young collectors, once they start, they have to have them all, right?
Yeah,
and it's just, it's
like Beanie Babies, dude.
Until they don't. So like Peach Momoko, there were people that were collecting everything Peach Momoko until they felt like, okay, there's too much of it.
5 of them a week.
Yeah, but there's not like 5 Scotty Young covers coming out per FOC.
Yeah, also. But they're also not very interesting. I mean, like, what's great about this?
I mean, I'm not a Scotty collector, but the way I would sell it, I mean, it's a Venom title and people enjoy that, right? So,
Aaron, here's a pen. Sell me this pen.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it has an appeal with a certain fan base. Like,
so let's start it on Whatnot and for $1 1 minute, and let's find out where it goes from here.
I mean, this cover looks so kind of crazy that it'll probably end up being worth something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many people were still reading the Venom titles and stuff like that, but I mean, that seems like it's right up Al Ewing's wheelhouse of writing the dark, kind of grimy kind of stuff for Marvel. And then I feel like this has a really good juxtaposition, like having the like kind of kid drawings to it versus something like epic drawing of Venom that you would typically see on a title. All right. And it's an anniversary issue.
Yay.
Is that all that's on the FOC?
That's for what Lefteros covers, but
yeah,
we will share this tab instead. So thank you, Economics and Comics. Here are his FOC books, and then we'll just kind of scroll through these. And if you want me to stop and talk about any of them, we can. I'm not going to read every single title because then we'll be here forever.
Yeah.
So, what do y'all think about these Disney covers still? And it's a Greg Land.
Oh boy, stop this shit already!
A Spider-Gwen Greg Land cover.
No Greg Land. No, thank you.
Yeah,
no more.
Oh, is that that's the Disney Duck one? The only one I really need 100 copies of because it's Disney Duck.
Yeah. The first couple were cool, and then they just they run everything into the ground. So
yeah, I feel like they're trying to milk the cow, right? On it at this point, and try to get as many books as they can for the 100th anniversary. I guess they're doing more.
Someone asked me what I've liked in the last 5 years. I just mentioned a lot about Zoe Thorogood. Maybe you joined the show late.
Yes,
Look
sir.
for work. Also really enjoyed this Olivier Coipel Spider-Man cover. I mean, there's good stuff
How do you
out there.
pronounce that name? For years, I have not been able to pronounce that name. Olivier
Coipel.
Coipel. Olivier Coipel.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's too fucking hard, dude.
No, it's fine. He's French. But
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, there's
So it's Coipel. Coipel.
Coipel. But there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of good stuff out there. But if we're talking about, do I just like it for its aesthetic, or do I think it's investment worthy? And these are two very different concepts too. Like, I don't generally buy variant covers because I don't really like to dive into that speculation. I bought that Olivier variant because I just really liked the image. It was cheap. I was able to find it for way less than it was, going for by the time I became aware of it. There's also a really cool, I think, oh my gosh, who was it? There's a Captain America cover, and it's by, who did the series where they brought the Watchmen into DC?
Are you talking about
Gary Frank?
Gary Frank. Gary Frank did this amazing Captain America cover lately that I just think is incredible. I think it's one of the best covers of the year. So that's something that I would like. But I don't know, man. I think that a lot of this stuff is just engineered scarcity, or like the idea of variants to kind of like loop in somebody. There's a really, Michael Choi used to do a bunch of posts on why he thought that variant covers are incredibly deceptive, and that he thought that if people are going to be known for variant covers, they should be doing interiors as well. There's a good argument for that. Is it misadvertising in a way? I think we've gotten used to it, but that doesn't change the fact that it may still be sort of like misadvertising, especially since so many comic shops don't have loose comics out on the racks because they're conscious of condition. They immediately go in a bag, so you just see the cover. Some people are maybe perhaps a bit shy about pulling a comic out of a bag and board to look at it, so they're making the decisions based solely on the covers. And when you get it home and you get something different, I think we've just gotten used to a little bit of a fraud in that arena. That doesn't mean that we don't like certain covers. We do. It either moves you or it don't. I'm not saying that I'm the be-all, end-all in making these decisions, but I'm going to give my opinion about them. And I honestly stand by the investment factor. I don't think many of these have any longevity value-wise.
Alrighty. And if y'all see any covers you want me to stop and talk about, or if we want to talk about any, just let me know. Is anyone reading the new Black Panther series?
No, but I was reading Black Hammer. I do like Black Hammer.
Oh, wait, is that Daredevil and Echo?
Because that's always your favorite, right?
Yeah.
It is.
Have y'all seen this Greg Land Captain America variant? And then they have a
is that a Liefeld tribute?
And it's they have a 1 in 100 where it's just a black and white of this.
Jesus, who wants it?
Or it's like 1 in 100 or 1 in 50 or something like that.
Is that like for Greg Land's family members?
I have no idea. All right, Hades, Disney villains books coming out. It's a Dynamite book, so there's going to be 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
Hey,
Like 500 variants every fucking
those
book.
Darklings are doing.
I love
great.
Nick. Nick is an amazing advocate for collecting original art, but
Nick is awesome.
But the amount of variant covers that he does, it borders on
Criminal.
I'm gonna leave that open. I'm glad you answered that for me. It's silly to me. And of course, again, name 5 Dynamite comics that are worth more than $10.
Give me a minute. I may need more than a minute.
It could be
I'll
done
come back
now.
to you on that.
Yeah, I mean, there's always those covers that are overshadowed.
Ghosts, man.
Yeah, so I mean, like, because there's so many produced, like, it's a lot to engulf in, right? And then, like, over time, like, one pops up that a bunch of people want. So it's an interesting market to be in.
Even I shouldn't be hypocritical because I am trying to do my own website exclusive for a cosplay variant with Dynamite, so I should shut up.
Oh, I do like this Jolie Jones variant.
Yeah, I ordered one of those.
Yeah.
That one's nice.
Ooh, Godzilla's getting a title now.
Isn't there going to be like a Godzilla DC crossover?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep, Godzilla and King Kong versus the Justice League.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's kind of crazy that they're doing all these Blue Beetle covers for titles that he's not even going to be in.
Yeah, this is never a good idea.
All right. I hate Fairyland and realize that title is still going, but that's kind of cool.
Hey, to change the subject real quick, did you see the Mortal Kombat characters they're putting in the game?
Yeah.
Yep.
Bro, is that not fucking awesome, dude?
Yeah, I can't wait to battle as
Fucking
Omni-Man.
Homelander, bro.
Right.
Omni-Man versus Homelander. I think that's going to be like an epic battle.
Didn't they also put in Batman Who Laughs too?
I haven't checked the.
Did they?
Yeah, I think there was a skin in it, a special skin in it for Batman Who Laughs.
Oh, if you buy a certain version.
Hey, bro,
Yeah.
Miss Minutes, Jean Grey, bro. Look at that,
Yeah.
dude. That book, bro.
There's so many. I think they've watered down that Kool-Aid so much though with
Yeah,
the
that-
Miss covers.
Yeah,
it's fucking-
the only one worth having is that timeless #1, and people slept on it. And I mean, will it matter?
Wait.
I don't know.
Issue
I don't-
1 or the first print or second print?
Yeah. That's,
The first print.
First print.
The second print though is a 1 in 25 of that
Yeah.
cover.
But the second print, is that the one that was black and white?
yep.
Yep.
And that's
And then-
again that's engineered scarcity, right? Like you had the opportunity to get the first appearance and the first printing of that character in comics.
Whoa,
Most
whoa.
people passed on it, and then they go to
Let's
the
not
second
let's
print.
not send out false information. She was not in the book.
Yeah,
But she's the first. She appears on the cover, so it's her first appearance in comics.
But
And
do
she
cover
has
appearances
never appeared-
count as first appearances?
To
It's
the
a real
hobby,
question.
apparently.
yeah.
Yeah. Then
At this point, she's
But then-
basically just become a cover
but then you-
mascot.
But then you can make the argument that Guardians of Nowhere #1 should outprice Spider-Gwen 24.
I mean, those are two things that I think are going to mean nothing to anybody in a
No.
week. Never mind in 2 years. But I mean, if you compare it to, if you're going to do an apples to apples comparison, I mean, that first appearance of Bishop, first appearance of Bishop is on that Uncanny X-Men. He doesn't really appear until the next issue, but he's on the cover of that first issue.
But then we're running into that same argument in 282. So he has that full splash page on the very last page, and then he has the cover as well.
Yep.
And then 283 is like his first full.
Yeah.
So it's like that whole argument with like what Hulk 180 versus 181.
That's going to get ugly.
Yeah.
Also, you know that Bishop was based on Gary Coleman?
What?
Yeah, our concept. I learned this day watching Comic Book Cafe.
Oh, there's
They
that
showed
verse
the whole
bash.
issue of the Electric
Mhm.
Company magazine with Gary Coleman on the cover, which is the basis for the look of Bishop.
Yeah, I really like this Rose Besh cover.
That one's nice, man.
Yeah, and then they have a 1 in 100 of this where it's a virgin.
Rose Besh is collectible for sure.
Hey, go back right there, Aaron. Look at that. No, that green, the Red Wing.
The Red Wing. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta get that, man. That's fucking crazy, dude. I gotta get that bird. Right?
Well,
That's the
make sure
thing, bro.
We'll make sure to order it because it's on the FOC.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
hope there's like
That's
a
his
secret.
first standalone cover, bro.
Hope there's a secret Savage Dragon appearance in there someplace. That would be amazing.
Plot holes #1.
Plot holes #1.
Next, no, yeah.
title that you're interested in?
Yeah, I'm interested in that one.
Oh, it's Sean Murphy, huh? Or Gordon Murphy? Yeah, Sean.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
I got some Sean Gordon Murphys for sale, my friend. Got some Sean Gordon Murphy art.
Original art?
I sure do. I got prelims to White Knight.
Really?
Yeah, including the drawing room scene with the Joker in one room and Harley in the other room.
I really like this.
Nice.
I really like the Stephanie Hans cover.
Do you
Realm
have
Vex.
it on eBay or what?
Nah, I don't put my stuff in eBay. I get it on the website and Pop Sequentialism.
I will
like
hit that up.
Excuse me, Matt, what's
the
website?
Red Sonja Lee.
The Red Sonja Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Huck Lee cover.
There's a 1 in 75 version of that.
Oh, that's badass.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I'm glad to see that he's doing work again and that his arm has healed.
Excuse me, Matt. What was the website for the Sean Gordon?
Hey, back off there.
So if you look at my name, Pop Sequentialism, it's popsequentialism.com.
I will check that out.
God
Those
damn
would look great over a bunch of lap dance chairs and a comic book themed juice bar.
Has anyone been reading something epic? I just read the first issue today, and
How was it?
it wasn't really meant for me to read or whatever, so it didn't impress me too much, but I could see the appeal for it. Sonic covers, back to Dr. Aphra, Stranger Things. I think it's interesting they're doing like side characters to have like main comics, right?
Who's publishing that?
It's Boom, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was Dark Horse.
Oh, it's Dark Horse. My bad. I couldn't remember.
I mean, again, like, when's the last time a Dark Horse title was worth anything?
Quick Stops was cool.
I'm excited to see what they do with the video game company. To see if they start like taking comics and making them into video games. Since they have like the IPs now at that point, right?
Man, you got a pretty cool website there, Matt.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, man, that's pretty dope, dude. You're putting books on
Ooh.
there and stuff. That's
This
pretty
Raza
cool,
cover.
dude.
This X-Force Raza cover. Alrighty, so that was FOC. I don't remember what we typically do after this.
Um,
Would either be going into or coming out of drama at this point, I think.
Yeah, I don't have anything really for the drama report because I don't really involve.
somebody's at somebody's house.
Write some drama for you if you like.
Ooh. Do tell, pray tell.
See.
we could do pickups and then call it for the night. Yeah, Jersey the Big called it pickups. Anyone got anything for
I
pickups?
have a special one that I need to open live.
Okay.
Sweet.
Who wants to kick it off? All right. I'm gonna highlight Matt.
Jesus Christ, Matt, you're expensive, bro.
I'll cut you a deal. So this is I picked up 2 of the original really important D&D modules from my youth. 2 Maharas written by Gary Gygax and White Plume Mountain, which was written by Lawrence Schick. But I remember playing this. This was the D&D module that really introduced Melnibonéan myths into Dungeons and Dragons, which were then later removed from the Deities and Demigods book. Because if you win the prize at the end of this module, you win Elric's Black Sword, Stormbringer. So these were kind of retconned much years later. These are in really, really clean shape for D&D modules. There was a recent auction, I think it was Midtown, so Comic Link, that did a whole auction based around role-playing game stuff. So I ended up picking up a couple modules there that I haven't gotten back from them yet. But the condition on them was not nearly as good as these pieces I was able to find just like cruising through eBay. And the prices that things started going for in the Comic Link auction started to get above, I think, what you could get things for but I think those are the new established values. If you're an old D&D nerd like I am, if you've got like clean condition old books or modules or any of that stuff, and especially the pre-hardcover Dungeons and Dragons materials, those are soon to be worth a fortune. I'm going to be sending these to Hood and having him press. He was like, oh, I've never done those before, but let me take a look at them. So I'm going to send them in as kind of samples for him to work on. And I've been talking to the folks at CBCS about producing holders, like some decent slabs for modules. They can do it, but they actually don't have anybody that knows enough about the modules to be able to grade them efficiently yet.
Wow.
So they need to bring on somebody that can, tell the difference between a 9.0, a 9.2, a 9.4, a 9.6, a 9.8. What's complete, what isn't complete, because a lot of these things have pullouts. Like a lot of the modules don't have staples on the outside binder. The staples are just on the materials on the inside. They would frequently come with maps and other things. Are we going to consider something complete if it's a module that came with pens, that may not be included? So, there's I think it's a really smart thing to be investing in right now, as that generation of current gamers are now like stoked about D&D and are going back and trying to find that original material. So much of it was never preserved in good condition. So finding anything in really exceptional condition is extraordinarily rare and should equate to like some really, really high value investment potential.
Yeah, because you would think like when that came out, people played those games, man. I remember my cousin was real big into that, and I couldn't get into it, so. Some
of those first edition hardcovers are worth a fortune because they took things out. Like they didn't realize they didn't have the rights in the Deity and Demigods book to Cthulhu myths, Melnibonéan myths, Fafhrd Grey Mouser. So they all came out one after a time. But then also like Fiend Folio went out of print. And so like that was like the second Monster Manual before Monster Manual 2. And then they started putting different covers on things. So depending upon your generation of play, you may have a certain affinity for a specific cover on those books. People are mentioning a lot of love for Michael Moorcock and for Elric. So I grew up Catholic, and for confirmation, I actually took the name Elric as my confirmation name. So I thought it was kind of funny that I was picking as like this sort of like saintly name, an albino mass murderer during my confirmation. So that was kind of neat.
Cool. Hood, do you have anything for pickups?
I've got a couple of things. I showed a couple of things the other night, but I just thought this was cool. I haven't looked it up, but I found this Razor Torture still in the bag, and it's got a foil card, shiny card.
Nice.
I can't really see who the fucking artist is. But yeah, it just looked pretty freaking cool. It says 90s all over. It's Razor number 0. And then I got this one. Now this art really looks fucking awesome. Like and high grade too. This is Razor number 1. You ever seen this one, Aaron?
I haven't seen that one before.
And
is it like an embossed cover or anything like that?
No, this one isn't. Torture. Razor number 1, Torture, Everett Heart Sows. It's a lot going on, but I just thought it was cool. Like, but let me see what else I got. Oh yeah. This second print Wolverine. Weapon X.
Oh, that's cool.
This one's kind of hard to find. And then
do you know who did the cover art for that? Because I'm gonna ask.
Is that Quietly? That was cool looking. I don't know.
Nice. It is, the variant cover is what are the odds? Olivier Coppel.
Yeah.
Coppel.
Killing it, man. He's killing it lately.
Yeah. And then where is it? No, I think that's it.
All right. Josh, I'm gonna save yours for last.
Okay.
I have a few items real quick.
I have nothing.
Okay. I have a Scotty Young, Moon Knight, City of the Dead. I mean, like these Moon Knight, Scotty Young covers, these traditionally always sell very well. So
That's such a good one.
I know, right? Like you have Moon Knight as the moon, and then like it's just gonna. I feel like.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I just snapped to that. That's cool.
Yeah, so I feel like this is gonna do well in the secondary market, no matter what.
Much better than that other one we looked at.
Yeah. And then Red Hood, shout out to you because I did pre-order this as well.
See, I told you, dude.
Yeah,
Christopher.
I just hadn't picked up. I just hadn't picked it up.
No, the reason I called that one out, Matt, was because you've never seen the Werewolf by Night in a negative space.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
And it is a thick book too, as well, so it does justify the $9.99 cover price. I thought it was a good buy-in for like. Compared to like all the other JTC books, which were exclusive cons, like
there was a lot of them damaged, dude. Is what I heard.
Those are super tough to get a 9.8 back on because of that thickness. Like they really are.
Yeah, I mean
really
it's a square bound book, so I feel like it if it was shipped,
it's got a chance.
Yeah. I did pick up a few of these as well. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of Time annual. I just love the homage to the to issue 1, and then you have all the dead turtles on the cover as well at the bottom. So I'll check it out and read it to see.
I like that one. That was okay.
Yeah. The ongoing joke cover with my brother, the Days of Future Past. So I picked up a few of these because I thought I was like, okay, it's LaFell doing his cover, and then I actually read this. And then I was kind of disappointed that Polaris died, or Lorna Doom died so early, right? Or Lorna Dane. Some older pickups that I've had that I haven't showed off. I'm still collecting those What the Duck books, Miss Marvel. I happened to find this in the back issue bin somewhere.
Oh, I found one for you in Houston, right? That
the one that did the Ed Munk cover, the Scream. Yeah.
The Scream.
Yep. And then at the same store, I found the Swordmaster #2. So I'll always pick up these whenever I get a chance. Oh, nice. And then during that same time, this is when I picked up the Jim Bartell Spitfire cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I didn't break the rules, actually followed them and found them in a back issue. Also picked up this beautiful Jenny Frizen foil, Something is Killing the Children. As a lot of people know, I'm a huge homer on Something is Killing the Children books, so I'll buy those when I can. I think this is the 1 per store or the FOC unlockable variant, I think.
Did you see the new Veronica Fish variant for Something's Killing the Children?
Yeah. Which issue was that?
I don't know if it's out. It might be soliciting now. She just posted an image of it like a week ago. It's pretty killer.
Okay, I haven't seen that. And then I picked up the 1 in 25 variant for like ratio price. So I was like, kind of like, okay. I was like, I'll buy a ratio for ratio. And
do you have any cornbread on Something is Killing the Children, Matt?
Do I have any cornbread?
Yeah,
it's never happening.
Inside information.
Inside baseball.
I heard a very interesting name bandied about with regard to casting, which I do not think is going to happen. It was before the last Oscars by about a month, and I only mention that because her father was involved in an incident at that last Oscars. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Will Smith's daughter? I didn't know she was an actress. Is Will Smith's daughter an actress? Could be. Okay.
Chris Rock has daughters too, man.
Okay. All right.
He didn't say whether it was the person who was on the receiving or the giving side of that scenario.
I think Will Smith's daughter is an actress.
I don't know how earnest those discussions were happening, but it was a discussion that I heard about.
Oh, I have one more item real quick. So big shout out to Comix Main. He has a 3D printer and he printed me this cami.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, so
What?
I am going to prime it and paint it myself. So
Damn.
yeah,
Okay.
Awesome
Yeah.
sauce.
I haven't painted a model in such a long time, so this is gonna be real fun.
How long does it take to make that on a 3D printer? I'm so like out of it.
I don't know the time it took him, but I probably paid him probably like 2 weeks ago, and then he had some issues with certain pieces of it and had to reprint some of those parts. So, but if you're interested in ordering pieces from him, hit him up on IG Comics Main. So he'll 3D print you up whatever your heart desires, I guess.
All right. So I had to pick one of these up.
That's cool.
Nice.
That's really
Yeah, this was the El Quinto Mundo SDCC Superman 51, which is actually really funny because the original Lamole one was Superman 43. So it's actually a completely different story inside. They just reused the cover.
Okay.
Oh, that's an interesting factor.
Yeah, that was super interesting. These showed up late, but I got
The My Little Pony books.
my MLP books in. So
Are you a brony?
no, I bought these because I knew that they were gonna do something, and like I forget how much the incentive was going for, like 40-50 bucks.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
What is it? That the first brown
He's not
pony?
a brony. He's brony baiting.
Yes, yeah, it's like
The first brown pony?
because she's
Yeah,
like
there's nothing wrong with being a brony, bro.
yeah,
I didn't
Oh,
say
Show
there
your
was.
brony pride, bro.
yeah, dude.
Okay, I'm sorry, Ben.
I'm not ashamed to make money. That's what it is. Do what I gotta do.
Yeah, brony is awesome sauce. I said it.
I got this
Oh my
back from
God.
CGC.
Oh,
Good
nice.
grief.
Yeah,
Uh,
I sold one of my raw ones, and then I wanted to get one graded. So
What is that?
it's
this is
Lucio
Vampirella Year
Parrillo.
1. Yeah, number 6. This was the Virgin.
My God.
That was
Mama!
that was a Perillo cover, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
And
I'd
then
get
I
in
got-
trouble if I fucked around and got that.
I got this back. This was the Britney homage.
Oh yeah, that's like the Rolling Stone cover or something.
Yeah, so I got that back.
Rolling Stone cover. Shout out
Is that
to
Dan Parent?
Yep.
Yeah. So this was the glow in the dark one. So this was limited to 15 copies.
You just need a Wembanyama in there slapping her.
All right. Someone's gonna say something about this, but I
It's
don't
a
even
rough
care.
crowd.
I don't even care. Because this is a dope Ghost in the Shell homage. So this was Liquid Kill 1, and it's a Whatnot book. Dude, I don't even care. That
I know
is-
it's a badass cover, bro. I'm
if
just
you're
fucking
an
with you.
anime fan and you know Ghost in the Shell, that's a sick homage cover.
Years.
So,
I assume you got the ash cans of Ghost in the Shell, right?
dude, this people will probably laugh at, but I thought this was funny. So I graded some of these Animal Crossing free comic book day books. So I'm pretty sure, and I'm gonna keep digging, but I'm pretty sure this is like the first ever U.S. Comic book appearance of Kirby. So if that's true, it was interesting. All right, interesting. I got these in.
There you go.
Oh, sick. What country is that from?
Those are from Brazil.
Hmm.
So this was like a newspaper supplement. I mean, these things are like huge. So this is The Shadow. This is from 1944. And it was just a sick.
Excuse me, Josh. So that Shadow, that's would be the equivalent to a Sunday newspaper strip here in the U.S. or
So yeah, so basically this is just the cover. Like this, there weren't any stories like comic strips inside of this. It was like newspaper ads
Mhm.
and stuff like that. Like you have like this one, the back cover is like a comic strip, but it's nothing
That's-
crazy.
Dope as
So
hell, man.
this is purely just because that skull is nasty.
Cool.
And then I picked up another Shadow one.
Man,
This is also from 1944, and that
That's
was
Great, crazy art, man.
very
dude.
Matt Baker-ish. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's sick. So I'm not like the biggest Shadow fan, but those were too cool to pass up.
How much do those set you back?
I paid, I think, $250 or $300 a piece for those. All right, so this is a package that I got from Chad.
Oh, from Chad
Because-
Cave.
The Chad
'cause
Cave.
Shout out
The
to
Chad Cave. So me and Chad Cave had a bet, and he thought Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was going to hit $1 billion, and I said, no way. And it did not hit $1 billion, so I won. It did 800 and I forget. He posted in here 830 some million. So I mean, I don't know if that's like considered far off still. So Chad hit me up the other day and he was like, "Hey, did you ever get that package?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was gonna open it up live, and he's I don't know if he wanted me to, but I'm gonna do it. So
And here we are.
So
Here we-
did you guys specify theatrically?
yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah,
It's
because
gonna
I'm
hit
sure.
$1 billion.
Correct. It's going to hit that. It was theatrically. But I will say I was way off too, because I had high hopes for Flash and that just so
That still surprises me. I'm really shocked that it performed so poorly.
Yeah, I just.
I mean, and there's reasons, clearly with, James Gunn saying, "Oh, this doesn't have anything to do with what's happening later," which he didn't need to say
yeah.
because the film is open-ended enough that you can leave it however you want it.
And I just want to say, Chad, thank you, because I told you didn't have to send me anything. But I thought it was just a funny bet. So we're gonna go over these books.
Just don't bet Josh $1 million.
All right. All right, this is dope. So we have Action Comics 1056.
Damn, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's a dope cover.
That signature looks familiar.
I think is
Yeah.
this Carla Cohen?
Yeah, sure is,
yeah,
partner.
yeah.
Is it? Is it?
Come on.
Okay.
Mama!
And then the Virgin.
She's not a virgin.
And then we have
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Mila
Yeah.
Manara.
yeah. So that's super dope. I do not have this, so that was super cool. I know this is not like a particularly cheap book to find, and
Hey,
one of
there
these.
you
go.
So
Hey,
yeah,
we're twinsies.
yeah. I did not pick this up. So after Aaron showed it, I was like, "Ah, dang!" Like,
I wouldn't have sent him that one, Chad.
Twinsies.
so
Twinsies.
there you
Those
go,
are some
Chad.
fucking fire books, Chad. God damn
Yeah, I
it.
appreciate it. I will keep these forever. You did not have to do that. Let's
That was
make more
super cool,
bets.
man.
Cool stuff.
I wish I
Uh,
had friends because that way I could get books like that.
That's like the second thing I've ever been sent. So don't feel bad.
Now everybody's gonna send you shit.
Stuff like every day. I'm like, dang.
Wait. Oh, you mean like the big clutch card and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Aaron, everybody likes Aaron, dude. They just send him everything. Dude. You go. Aaron told me the other day. You see the new car they sent me?
that
No, I gotta
happens,
go,
like-
guys. But I love everybody. I
yeah,
love y'all.
we're actually gonna end it like right here. So
Okay, I'm ending it now.
you're ending it now. Yeah. So,
Matt?
yeah, good show, everyone. Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Nice meeting you.
So I guess we'll say
I'm waving, Adam.
All
Is
right.
it that
wave back,
the
Adam.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Adam, how'd you get that awesome black and white filter going?
I have no clue.
I was gonna say, I think he's just. I thought he was just in the dark.
He's on the Casablanca feed.
He has night vision goggles on his camera and stuff like that. So, but anyways, all right, we're gonna play our outro. Next week we'll resume our regular scheduled program, and Bryan will be back to do everything. So, but we'll probably be joining the panels and stuff like that to have our shows back on track. So I'm not sure if they're going to be as punctual on time, or if it'll be back on stoner time. I'm assuming it's going to go back to stoner time. But anyways, all right, y'all take it easy, and we'll catch you next time. Okay, I saw that Joe has a question. What's your question, Joe? Real quick before we end the show, and then also I might also jump onto the Discord after this as well.
Dude, that was so funny because I was like, wait a second, we're still live. Like,
Yeah. I just wanted to see if he was still on and could ask this question real quick. But yeah, I do plan to jump into the Discord afterwards for the after show chat. I don't even know if he's still watching. How are you? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Was that your question? Because
What was Joe's question?
That's
how
awesome.
are you? Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, y'all take it easy.
I love it.